Yeah! I love to hear that. Man! I get so excited when we pack the place, and we pack the place every time that there is somebody exceptional who is our guest. And you know, who you're tuning in out there, you know that we have an exceptional guest. So welcome to Penguin Live, where wherever you happen to be in the world, we bring you the absolute best magic. I'm your host, Dan Harlan. Thank you so much for supporting Live Magic, and we have an acclaimed expert at sleight of hand. You already know that this guy does incredible magic. One of his specialties is coin magic. He's going to do a ton of that for anybody that's interested in coin magic out there. Now, he has been performing for Hawaiian audiences for over 40 years. He hails from the great state of Hawaii, and he, in addition to doing close-up magic, he's also headlined the Magic in Paradise show for 13 years. He's designed illusions for many of the shows that have been put on there by not just magicians, but also for the ballet and for the opera, just all kinds of stuff. So, he's done a lot, and he's going to show you a lot of the stuff that he's done. Tonight, he has a lecture specifically designed for us, which is awesome. Yeah. So, I know everybody here is excited, and so are you, and so am I. So please join me in welcoming the big kahuna of the Coin Warriors. It's Curtis Cam.
Dan Harlan. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Curtis Cam, and apparently I'm exceptional. Yeah, my mother said special, but exceptional will do. I have to start. I'm a Chinese American from Hawaii, just to clear up the ethnicity things. And that being the case, I have to place this goblet of phony coins here, just to balance the feng shui. Feng shui is an ancient Chinese phrase meaning lines of force or line of bull. I don't know which. The translation's not that good. I'm here tonight to give you a lecture that involves the two things that I didn't notice when I started attending magic lectures, but I figured it out since. That the two things that I've always wanted from a magic lecture are inspiration and information. And I've been talking to people about doing coin magic in particular for many, many years. And they don't do coin. If the people who don't do coin magic generally don't do coin magic for one of two reasons. Either A, they have never seen coin magic that made them want to do it. They don't think it's entertaining or mysterious enough. And that's the inspiration part. If you've actually seen someone do what coin magicians do well, I think you'd want to do it. And I'm going to try and do some of the stuff like that'll encourage you to do it. The other thing is information. There's an awful lot of information that you don't have. And there's a lot of misinformation going around. I'm going to try and clear some of that up. We'll talk about that. That'll be the explanation phase. But before we go any further, I thought I would actually do some magic for you, the hopefully inspiration part. Inside this goblet, I am going to show you a couple of tangible illusions. Tangible illusions. Because these are 6 coins that aren't really what they appear to be. These are 3 brass Chinese coins. They're phony Chinese coins. They appear to be Chinese coins, but they're phony, and they were made in America. And I'd like you to take a look at those, make sure they're exactly as phony as they appear to be. And on the other hand, these are 3 phony American coins, which were made in China. They, they look like Morgan silver dollars, but you can see from the way they stick to a magnet that they aren't the real thing. And have you ever seen a phony American coin? No. Yeah, take a look. Make sure those are exactly what I said they are, which is apparently complete frauds. I'll take the Chinese coins back, and I actually don't need them all. Place those inside as well. I don't need them all. I'm only going to perform with 3 of the coins. I thought I'd leave it up to chance tonight. Sir, would you just, without looking, reach in there and remove a coin? This is the lottery portion of the show. Okay, a phony silver coin. I think I can do them with that, yeah. All right, so we'll do the effect with the 3 phony silver coins made in China. It's a little confusing because, it's hard to say they don't feel like silver coins, and they feel to me as if they were the Chinese coins made in America, because you can. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll do it with this one. It's all right. We just. What did I? Yeah, see, I get easily confused. Well, if you're applauding my confusion, you're going to have a great time tonight. If the 3 Chinese coins made in America are here, that means our American phony coins have to be inside the goblet. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Thank you. But I have to admit, despite your applause, I did cheat you. I said I was going to do the trick with the 3 silver coins, and that's what I'll do. Watch the 3 silver coins. They do a very quick trick. They sort of become Chinese, and that means the silver coins are back in the goblet. So I'm not really sure why this is happening. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliver on this promise. I'm going to put the 3 silver coins where they apparently want to be. The 3 Chinese coins will definitely go inside the goblet. And maybe now, with this all the way over here, we can do this right. Watch the 3 silver coins. What I'm going to do with the 3 silver coins is a very simple, old classic effect. The 3 coins start over here. I make 2 fists. I perform the mysterious dance of the thumbs. And that causes one of the coins to travel from one hand to the other. That's 1 over here and 2 over here. Now, a lot of people watching just think the coins go up the sleeve, across the chest, down the other sleeve. I think that's not possible, but I can try. There it is, 2 over there, and 1 over here like this. Watch the last coin. Can't believe I've gotten this far. This has never worked this far. Watch that last coin. I'm going to send it the hard way. It starts over here. It goes over the horizon, around the planet, past China, comes all the way over here, and arrives over here. Of course, that gives us... Oh, no, those are those. Wait. If those are there, then that gives us 1, 2, 3, right in there like that. And that's... All right, so a moment of confusion, and everything's okay. I have to stop. I have to do a public service announcement. Actually, it's not a public so much as a commercial. I invent things. I invent, I invented this. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. This is what we're calling the theft-proof purse. It's a little coin purse for people who do coin magic and people who just carry money around. People can't take what they can't see. Anything in the purse becomes invisible. I'll show you what I mean. I keep my coin collection inside. This is a copper crown. And since someone can look at that, we'll just pretend because we don't need that to happen. And inside here, there's also a silver dollar. This is how the purse works. It's kind of an amazing thing. We spent a lot of time on that. If you watch the coin go into the purse like this, when I snap the purse shut, the coin becomes invisible. All right? Now, if you want the silver coin in the purse and not the copper coin, all you need to do is squeeze like this. The silver coin comes out, the copper coin comes out, I'm sorry, and the silver coin must, of course, be inside the purse. That just makes sense. You know, I like it when things do what they're supposed to do also. Let me show you that again. With the 2 coins, if I take the copper coin, place the copper coin inside the purse, it can jump out to my hand over here. If the coin jumps out over here, then inside the purse, then it's got to be the silver coin. Now, that gets a little confusing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll make it simpler. I've got 2 hands, I've got a weird purse, and 2 coins, and I talk a lot. So let me just make it simpler. I'm going to place 1 coin in the purse, and we'll just use the copper coin. Watch the copper coin as it goes from my pocket all the way across the sleeve, down over here like this, and ends up, boom, right out there like that. I'll do that again. Watch the copper coin start over here in this pocket, travel all the way over there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, remember that silver coin I put in there first? The silver coin is still there. So it's getting in the way of the copper coin. And then, wait a minute, way down in there. Yeah, I forgot. I went to China recently. And then after that, I went to Europe. So it's just all too crowded in there. So that's the product. And before we go any further, I think I want to do something for the people who are here as magicians. Well, I'm going to make everyone a magician. even the people who don't do coin magic. I'll make you each and all, every one of you, a coin magician. And I'll tell you, when coin magicians get together, there's one trick we do for each other. Just like there are certain jokes that only comedians tell other comedians, this is the coin trick that coin magicians do for other coin magicians. And it's kind of strange. And I'll roll back my sleeves because that's just part of the rules. And it doesn't really, the trick doesn't really involve this silver ring. And the trick doesn't involve this little handkerchief or even this leather cylinder. The trick really is all about, not even this little brass bolt, the trick really is about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 silver dollars. The cylinder is just here so that when you drop things into the cylinder, whatever they happen to be, they stack up nice and neat at the bottom. You can also just jam it over the top like this. It doesn't really matter. You can drop anything in the top. Whatever happens, whatever goes into the cylinder ends up in a stack. That's all pretty much it does. That's the 6 coins. I'm going to take this little brass nut, use it as a marker, and cover it with the cylinder like that. The trick really is about the coins and the rules. If I were to take these coins and squeeze them like this, do you know what would happen to the coins? Well, nothing. Nothing happens to the coins because the rules. If I really want to make them disappear or to do something with them, I'd have to take the coins and wave a magic wand over them. I don't have a wand with me, but luckily with 2 coins, if I can wave these 2 coins over these 2 coins will disappear. It's a really strict rule. I mean, if I just wave 1 coin over these 2 coins, then just 1 coin disappears. We're just left with 1. But you know, there's a loophole. If you just wave that same coin over the second coin, that one disappears too. I don't understand what all the talk is about. So anyway, let me get this last coin here, because this last coin vanishes by me taking it and tearing it into little tiny bits, sprinkling those little bits over the last coin. And the last coin, well, it doesn't really disappear. As magicians, you know that the coins don't just disappear. They have to go somewhere. And the part that I don't even understand about this trick is that when they go in the cylinder, if they go in from the top, how is it that they end up underneath the nut? Thank you. There they are underneath the nut. Now, I've tried to figure this out. I really don't understand it. I mean, I tried to figure it out. I figured if I could get the nut to go under the coins, then I'd know something. But you know what the problem with that is? There's no wand, nothing to wave over the top. If I had something I could wave it over this coin will work. I'll wave the coin over the nut like that, and wait a minute, that's 2 coins. Or that feels like 2, 3 coins, and that feels like, actually feels like 2, 4 coins, and that feels like 2, 3, 4, 5. And if 5, why not all 6 coins? And if 6 coins, that's where the nut is. Thank you. Oh, no, that's not the ending. Normally that's the ending, but not tonight. Tonight you're all coin magicians. Tonight you know that there's one more step. There's one more step to this effect, and that's this, the packing up. Packing, when the magician packs up the props, it's your chance to look for extra coins, hidden gimmicks, little things left behind, perhaps clues to the mystery. Because you know as magicians that if you can watch a magician take all the props, pack them up like this, after you've seen them all do something remarkable, assemble all the props, and still leave you without a clue as to how it's done, why then you know you've seen something special. And I hope you've seen something special tonight. Thank you. Oh. Thanks very much. I'm not going to talk about that stuff in detail. I'm going to cover some of the principles behind it, but that's really just there to get you interested in coin magic. I will tell those of you who have followed my work that obviously you recognize the middle trick, the coercive purse. It's been one of the first things I published, and a very popular trick, and it's the one that's spurred variations to come out, including Fred Capps, who published his version before I did, Came up with it before I did. But my ending, I've changed the ending, obviously. And the point of that is worth mentioning. I realized that at the end of the trick, the thing that distinguished my trick from Fred Kapps's was that I produced a jumbo coin at the end. And the way the trick used to end was that there was just, I would pull one large coin out of the purse. And the ending picture was this. It was just the purse and the jumbo coin. And recently I started thinking about it, and I said, you know, if this is a trick about production of coins, the ending display really ought to look like this. You know, they ought to see all the coins having come out of the purse. So I changed the routine so that these coins, instead of ending up in my pockets, ended up on the table. And then I figured out a way to produce 2 jumbo coins of escalating sizes rather than one. If you've ever tried to do this, you know the problem is noise. But I'll show you something. That's the Chinese coin on the jumbo euro. It's almost making no noise. And you can't see it, but if you go down to the hardware store and get something they call Flexi Grip, it's used to put handles on tools. And they sell it in a spray form and they sell it clear. And it's hard to believe that they sell it for tools because it's great for magicians. You spray it on the back of your jumbo coin, and that makes sure, unless you really whack them together, they're not going to rattle in your pocket. And on a good day, when it's warmer out, they'll actually stick to each other. So it makes it quite easy to steal and bring there. There it is. That's on the flatter side. It almost sticks to there, but that's it. That sits in your pocket and it's quiet, and you can steal them both out when you need to, and no one will know. And if you drop it on the table, you can show it on both sides, so it's better than like a putty or anything else. So anyway, that's the little tip I wanted to pass along on that. What I will talk to you about is and explain is a trick that's got a reputation for being really, really difficult. And it's David Ross hanging coins. And I've got what is probably the easiest version of David Ross hanging coins. And this thing can be done, and in addition, hanging coins is done primarily to show off the deceptiveness of edge grip. And David used it as a routine to show off what the potential of edge grip was when he was first lecturing about edge grip. It's a good effect, but it has touchy angles, and it's difficult to use. This one doesn't have those angle problems. And it's just basically part of the advanced finger palm lessons that I'm going to be talking about. But anyway, here's the deal. And it's not as deceptive. Before I start, it's not as deceptive as hanging coins with the edge grip. But in the context that I use it, which is following this joke that Michael Close suggested would be the perfect presentation for hanging coins, it actually turns out to be all the handling you need. So here's the deal. You say, look, once upon a time there were 4 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they were trapped on a desert island out in the Pacific somewhere. They had been there for years, nothing to do, no one to see. And they're walking along the beach, and one of them stubs his toe on a bottle. And he opens the top of the bottle, and there's a puff of smoke, and a genie comes up out of the bottle. And the genie says, for releasing me from the bottle, you each get a wish. Well, the first guy said, well, I wish I was off the island. And poof, he was gone. That left 3. Well, the second guy saw that. He said, this is for me. I wish I was off the island. Poof, he was gone. That leaves 2. The third guy said, well, that's a great idea. I wish I wasn't here. Poof, he was gone. Well, the last guy walked down the beach, realized that he was there all by himself, and says, gee, I wish my friends were here. And they're all back. Okay? So that's it. It's still a funny joke. It can stop the show for a moment. People laugh. And this is all the handling you need if you got something else going on. And this handling, I'll show you, it has other applications. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll do that now. I also use the handling in this routine. Sometimes people ask me, the people ask me, do you do magic or do you do illusions? And for a while then, all magicians, we were insisting that, I don't do magic, I do illusions. So there's been some confusion about that. I'd like to clear that up. Let me explain that to the difference between magic and illusion with this little brass box, and not so much with this little brass box, but with the 3 coins that you find inside. 3 coins, which we will call reality. 3 coins, a metal box, and well, this is the problem with reality. Nothing much happens. If I wanted to, or if I was able to, I would do magic. Magic is this. It's doing something that I can't do, like taking this coin and sticking it up in the air like it's a sticky note. I'll do that again for you. 2 like this. I just stick the coin up in the air like that. It's like it's a sticky note. And I can't do that. That's why I do it. And that's magic. Now, an illusion is different. An illusion is when I do something that I can do, but I don't. Like I can take the coin and put it inside the box. And it looked like I put the coin in the box. That's something I can do, but I didn't. I snuck it out in my hand. Here, let me try and explain that for you again. Let's see, this one here, I'll take this coin and this coin. I'll do it again. So I can't do this. So when I do it, that's magic, right? And I can't do this. So that's magic. Now this I can do, but I didn't. That was the illusion. All right? Here, is that clear? Let me do this again here. I'll take this coin down, I'll put that one up. That's the magic part. Now, it's important to remember never to do magic with the last coin. Because if I were to actually do magic with this last coin, maybe as you're looking at it, just kind of make it vanish, why then you might not know whether the entire thing was an illusion. Maybe I never even took the coins out of the box. Thank you. Okay, so all that's based on the same sequence. And it's a way to vanish coins in the air and apparently show your hands both empty simply by finger palming and lying. All right? Now, it's based on 2 principles, and these are the two subtexts, two principles in your subtext. Number 1, you have to assume, and this is mostly true, that people sitting where you are can't really tell how many coins I have here because they're in a spread. I mean, you're pretty sure it's 4, but you really can't tell for sure. That's why I have to drop count them like this so that you can be sure. The second thing that you have to believe to do this right is that there's no way in the world I could get these coins in my hand up to my fingertips without my other hand taking them and putting them there. In other words, you have to believe that you can't do this. Okay, so that's a little bit more of a lie. But that's a simple motor skill that we're just going to ignore that we can do. So here's how it works. You say, look, I have 4 coins, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then because I can't lift them with my thumb, I reach down and I take them and put them at my fingertips. But I don't take them all. I leave 1 behind. And so now there's only 3 up here. And I pretend that I've taken the last one here. That's the one you hang in the air. And they see 3. But remember principle number 1, they're not sure. So we have to count them. 1, 2, 3. And sure enough, there's 3. So now I want to move them to my fingertips again. I put my thumb on this coin and I come down and lay it on top of those 2 and only pick up 2. I leave 2 in my finger palm. These 2 come up like this and it looks like I come away and hang that one.
Are you adding the one from your right
yes.
then? So you're laying it on and then picking up
and it becomes one of the 2 that I raise to my fingertips.
Yeah, got it. And then the other 2 are in left-hand finger.
Right, and the other 2 are hiding in here.
Cool.
So there it is there. Now we're going to do the big lie. 1, 2. I'm going to leave 1 behind and raise the last one up to my fingertips. Now this is like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah. 1, 2, and I come in like this, and it looks like I just take 2 and put in my fingertips, but I vanished another one and emptied this hand. And you're using both hands to do the vanishes, so eventually both hands look empty. So now you're right here, and you've got this last coin, and to finish the joke, all you really need to do is move the coin to here.
Sorry.
And that's how you know someone's trying it. Yeah, that's the sound. Just like that. So then I like this picture just for the joke. The coin is here. You let it drop into your hand, and you let the noise tell them what happened first. Now, it's up to you. It's up to your own comic style whether you say, "and all his friends came back." I tend not to say it. I try and just make the visual work so that goes in. I heavily foreshadow that they're all back, and once everybody understands that's the joke, I open my hand, let them drop off, and that's the thing. Are there any questions? I'll do it again in the context of this trick, so you'll see the sequence again. I actually did that one. I did it backwards, and I'll do it the right way for you. So this one starts with the 3 coins in the box. It's the same sequence. These drop out like this. You cover the box, and you pick up the coins in your right hand. We're going to pick up the action from 3 coins in the hanging coin routine. And because I'm right-handed, that means that when you're at 3 coins, they should be in the right hand. It just works out that way. Okay, so then you count them as 1, 2, 3. Remember our first principle, they don't know until I drop count them. You pick up 2 and you leave 1 behind, and you hang that one in the air. You drop 2, 1, 2, and you put your thumb on this one, and you raise it up to the fingertips, and you hang that one in the air. All right, so now I've got how many in the finger palm? 2, exactly right. So that, boom, there it is. This is the one you say, look, illusion is when I do something, when it looks like I do something that I can do, but I don't. And you produce one of the coins from the finger palm. All right, you got 1 coin in the box. This is actually one of the first times I tried to do Ramsey's coins and hat routine. If anyone that does coins and hat or is familiar with that routine, it's a classic routine in which you sneak 3 coins into a hat after you tell the audience that you're going to do that. The theory is that because you reproduce the coins, they forget that you put them in, or they don't believe you that you put them in. So this is just a way to experiment with that idea. So, oh, by the way, I've got 2 coins in finger palm. If you want to produce one of the coins, you want to do it quietly. One way to do that is to tip the hand over. Let me see if I can show you this, so that your hand's this way, so that you just let one off like this. Now there's no friction of the coins on each other, and you can silently produce that coin. So, boom, like that. So that's the coin I didn't put in in the box. So now you're going to come this way and just perform a retention pass while you've still got a coin in finger palm. All right, this second one doesn't really go in finger palm. It goes just in fingertip rest, out of sight. So you say, let me do that again. You reach up in the air and you produce this one out of the air. And you do a click pass. And this is actually a really good click pass that's in Bobo's. Milton Court's drop vanish. And you just drop the top coin onto the second one. But from the front, it looks like I've dropped it on the coin that's already in my hand. The second time I reach out in the air, boom, there's a second coin, and I drop that one in. And 2 coins together looks an awful lot like 3 coins together, as long as you don't let them separate like that. So you can be pretty free about showing them. And you repeat the sequence, only this time you don't have to finger palm anything for the first coin. Boom, you hang that one in the air, and now your hands are empty. 1, 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. What I do is I pick it up this way, and I hang it here, so that I can go 1, 2, pick up 1 coin, hang that coin in the air, and now this coin, when I put it into the box, they think it's going to appear in this hand, but you make it appear in this hand. All right, you just readjust the sequence so that that one appears over here. Now, this last one is kind of fun. You say, look, I'll do it one more time with this coin over here. So you do a retention pass there, you produce the same coin, and then you hang this one in the air where that one was. It's just a nice quick sequence, right? And it's just a retention vanish. Look, I'll take this one from here and then I'll put that one there. And now you're going to vanish the last coin. And you can do it the same way that you vanish the other coins, but I like to do it with John Carney's fingertip vanish, which is sort of it's sort of Leipzig's vanish in the context of this rolling over motion like this. And if you've never seen it before, you're rolling you're taking the coin off your fingertip rest and turning the hand forward, and turning the hand forward like this, and turning the hand forward like this. And what you're doing is establishing as a constant motion the mechanics of the Leipzig vanish, which is this. You pretend to take the coin off your fingertips, but you don't. And this hand turns in and classic palms the coin, so it's in here. Let's see if I can show it to you this way. And that's it. You just directly classic palm the coin. What makes this work is the fact that you don't stop. You continue to rotate over like this. All right? And it's not clear where the coin vanishes. And then since it's a surprise, it's sort of natural for you to open your hands like this and go, all right, where'd the coin go? And it's just sitting there on the classic palm. You're not even palming it, just gravity is holding it there. And you look around, and if you want, you can transfer it over. And there's any number of ways to add it to the coins that are in the box. I think the easiest way is just to show it so that they presume the coins are all in the box, and then tip them out. And it makes sense to tip them out because they can't see how many there are. So you tip them out and you count them 1, 2, 3. And there you are.
Hey, Curtis,
yes,
just a quick aside here because we had somebody writing in asking about it. The name of the first effect that you did, that's the goblet, yes?
Yes.
Right. Now, is that published work?
Well, strangely you should ask. That's on a DVD that Penguin carries.
Oh, okay, all right,
yes.
Yeah, good. Now, you know, and this has nothing to do with you, but I've also had somebody write in that says that the DVD's on special right now.
Oh, really?
Which is great. Yeah, your DVD's on special at Penguin right now, but the download is not. So if there's anybody, you know, actually from our parent company watching this, maybe they'd put the download on the same special that the DVD's on. You know,
I would hope so because I think, frankly, that they're both special.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I have to say the goblet routine is the routine where more magicians have come up to me and said that was an important routine to them.
Yeah.
And I do a show where it's 30 minutes of coin magic, and it's for lay people. And the underlying question is, what is coin magic? Because they've never seen it. What is coin magic and why do you do it? And one of the reasons why is because it appears to mean something to other people. And the goblet is the example of a trick that appears to mean something to other magicians. So that's it. If you recognize the structure, the goblet is just David Ross, 3 coins in a purse and a glass, done 3 times. Standing up, no lapping. But that's it's just that stuff. And the hanging coin things, I was really eager to start with that because that is the coin trick that I do that moves like a card trick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, if you do cards, you know, it feels like a packet trick, really. It's just picking up and putting down and doing one or two little moves. Mm-hmm. So that's that.
And a big shout out to Mike Close for the joke.
Oh,
you know, right?
Yeah,
right. Because sometimes that's what it takes. Your scripting is fantastic, but sometimes you're like, you know, how am I going to put this together and make it actually flow to something? And I think Mike nailed it with that.
Yeah, he really did.
Joke.
He really did. To be fair, he's not the first person to suggest that joke be attached to a magic trick.
Yeah.
But he's the first one to say that's really where it goes.
Yeah.
And certainly in the case of the original hanging coins where the last coin doesn't disappear.
Right.
Yeah, you got that guy right there.
Yeah,
so that's
fantastic.
Perfect. I also do the world's hardest hanging coins routine. That's got to be the easiest hanging coins. I do the world's hardest hanging coins, and that's on a different DVD. And we don't have the patience to cover that. We're not covering that today.
Which one though? Do you want to say which? Do you remember which one is on? Is it Palms of Steel or a Fists of Fury or a?
Palms of Steel for Casablanca.
Okay, all right. Casablanca.
Yes,
very nice.
Yeah, I believe it is. That one has. Oh, maybe not. It's either 4 or 5, but it has the. I'll check.
Yeah. Let's look at the contents, shall we?
I'll check. And it is. Yeah, it's called Laser Coins on Palms of Steel 5. It is the hardest hanging
and that
coins.
One's Pirates of the Rising
Tide.
The Rising Tide. Yeah.
Pirates of the Rising Tide. And I have to tell you, it's been a fairly popular DVD. I only had one complaint from someone that was upset that the magic actually wasn't pirate magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it is rated R.
Yeah.
R. Come on, close up. It's rated R.
Yeah, so they're not shy about complaining, if they're not happy. I'll do a completely out of character. I'll do a card trick if that's okay.
Yeah.
There's a few card trick fans. I've had 1 or 2 card tricks that I've really relied on over the years. This one I came up with when I was a teenager, and it was a collection of the bits and the jokes and the tricks that were going around then, and which was a long time ago. And I'll tell you at the end, it's still a great trick, I think. I've used it to close sets. If you're doing a formal show, I've used it to back when the Desert Magic Seminar was in Las Vegas, and they would open by having people come and perform, and Roger Klaus would tap people to come and open the show by just performing 1 or 2 pieces. I did that, and it got a lot of comments from the magicians at the convention. This is it. Oh, and then at the end, I'll tell you how to do it. There's 2 ways: the hard way, the easy way, and the really bizarre but fun way. And then I'll tell you why you probably shouldn't do it. So here's the deal. This is the public service announcement. The other one was just a commercial. This is the public service announcement. I get a small government stipend by coming to warn people about this. How many people here have ever had a deck of cards and started to play and realized later that there are cards missing from the deck? Yeah. Do you know why that is? No idea? Well, a lot of people blame their siblings or blame their spouses, but the fact of the matter is that I've discovered, let's get this out of the way. I've discovered that there are cannibals in the deck. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. There are cards that eat the other playing cards, and I've separated the cannibals out in this deck. I separated the cannibals out in this deck so that you can see them. It should be easy to tell after years of study, but I think you can see that these have swords, evil, mean, nasty, violent-looking people. This one has a hatchet hidden behind his back, and this one has a sword stuck in his head. It has nothing to do with the trick, but it keeps people confused long enough for me to go on. Now, I don't expect you to take my word for it. After all, it's kind of a bold claim. Let me show you how the cannibals work. Let me see if they're hungry. This is how they work. They swoop down over the deck. Let's see if they're hungry. Yes, indeed. It looks like the cannibals are ready to perform for us, so we'll do that. And if you download this and you go back and you realize, and you watch that part again, you realize why it was kind of silly when I turned the deck around, because I didn't see it the first time. One of the things that ticks me off about this trick is that's probably the best part of the trick. Now, if you've ever seen cannibals in movies before, you know they like to eat a certain type of people. Those are missionaries. Would you do me a favor, sir? Reach over here and just cut off about half the deck anywhere as you like, really? That's good. I'll take the cards. This gentleman over here has selected the card to play the part of the missionary for this evening's demonstration, the Nine of Diamonds, the Curse of Scotland, the Pal of Juan, the Simon Aronson card. There it is. The Nine of Diamonds is going to get fed to the cannibal cards, play the part of the missionary. Watch, if you've never, it looks like this. I feed the missionary to the cannibals receive their first taste of religion. That's my mother's favorite joke, and it stays in. Munch, 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 munch. You can hear the crunching of tiny bones, and yet when the gory deed is done, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4 pieces of pasteboard having eaten one of their own kind. No. Or did they? Did they? Did you? Is that what you saw? I'm looking at this. This is an odd position. All right, we'll assume that worked. That's so weird. What happened? All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards having eaten one of their own kind. Now I know what you're saying. That was pretty strange. Can he do it again? Indeed, I can do it again. I have another packet over here because the gentleman cut us the cards into 2 piles. On this side, what am I doing? Oh.
It's a good thing it's not live.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'll tell you what, Curtis, I'll tell you what. If you want to go back to the beginning,
yes,
and do it, we don't mind at all. Nobody minds at all if you want to go back and reset it and do it from the top. Because
I mind, but yeah, you're right.
Well, whatever you want to do,
No, if just so everybody knows, I have no idea. Usually when I mess up, I at least know what I did. We'll do it again. We'll have gentlemen cut the cards. Go ahead. That's good. Can we pick it up from here?
Yeah.
All right. That's it. The Ace of Diamonds. It's clearly a diamond. The Ace of Diamonds is the card that serves as going to play the part of the missionary this evening. It starts in the missionary position, which is right here on the table. Now, I guess I just left the joke out, and it just messed me up. So there, munch, 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 munch. The cannibals munch the missionary card. Oops. All right. Yeah.
That's pretty spicy food.
This is that comedy theory where you just provide the straight lines and let the audience make their own show. Anyway, the Ace of Diamonds gets munched, munched, munched. That should be 1 less missionary card. We should spread the cards as if, and you show, look, there's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Yeah, that's the way it should look. Yeah, boy, you hated that missionary about as much as I did. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do it again. It involves another missionary card, the 5 of Spades. The 5 of Spades happens on the cannibals, just like the Ace of Diamonds before it. 2 of them leap on its back. Crunch, 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 crunch. In a special effects extravaganza that would make Steven Spielberg proud, the cannibals munch another missionary card. That was a slight burp. And indeed it's done. The cannibals look a little bit thicker after the meal, but you can see from the sides they're nothing but 4 ordinary pieces of pasteboard, having munched 2 of their own kind. This is the benefit of lowering expectations at the end of that trick, man. Now they're really impressed. But you know what the problem is, of course. This is America. You're saying to yourselves, where's the happy ending? There's always a happy ending at the end of these things, and indeed I have one for you. It involves 1 more missionary card, like the Ace of Diamonds and the 5 of Spades. The 5 of Diamonds happens upon the cannibals and gets eaten by the cannibals as well. This time the 5 of Diamonds gets fed to the cannibals face up, so you can see the terror on its face. Munch, 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 munch. A little bit of a burp, and the deed is done. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait a minute, where's the happy ending in that? Well, indeed, there is a happy ending. All I need to do is click the heels of the cannibals together 3 times, say the magic words, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. And just like in that movie over here in Kansas, the Ace of Diamonds never left. Over here, the 5 of Diamonds wasn't eaten. Over here, the 5 of Spades comes back. There never were any cannibals. It was all a bad dream. Probably something there. So that's the trick. That's the cannibal cards. If you were around back then, everybody was doing cannibal cards. Everyone was doing a lot of those jokes. But they all came together in that routine for me. What I added was the ending, where the cannibals all vanish and the people all come back. Believe it or not, if you look through the literature of this trick, nobody else seems to have wanted to end that way. People have used the cannibals to bring back the missionaries. I think you see that on Michael Lamar's version with the Apex Ace sequence. But I like vanishing the cannibals, and it's not any harder. Now, there are two handlings for this trick. What I did for you just now was the one I always do, which is the first I came up with, which is designed to fool skeptics and magicians. And I'll go over why it's just completely counterintuitive. But the easier version is the one that a friend of mine who saw me do this and wanted to do it, and that came up with his own method, what he uses. And I got to say, it's almost the same effect. Because it's like 70% the story. And it's a story with a happy ending, and there's nothing wrong with that. So here's the deal. You got 4 kings. This, of course, is only for occasions when you know you're going to do the trick. When I'm just doing this impromptu, when I'm doing a set of impromptu magic, it's nice to have one fully scripted, happy ending, big finish piece that doesn't require you to be carrying a special wallet, sorry, and or anything else. Just a deck of cards. You can pull this out, and you look like a full-time pro on vacation. So there it is. But if you have the opportunity, you take a card and you gnaw off one corner. And you just do that with scissors and your imagination. And I've started doing it face up. So you remember what card it is, remember which end is not missing an index corner, and you're ready to go. You introduce the 4 kings. You can talk about the suicide king, whatever you want to do. And what you do is when you take the kings out, you spread this deck face up across the table so that you can see that 8 of spades. So you know where it is. You know it's about the center, so you know where you're going to be looking. But that's ready to go. All right, so if I pull that out, I've got the card with the corner missing. So these are the kings. You talk about how the kings work. You open the bottom 2 and the up and the space between the bottom 2 and the top 2 in classic munching king formation. Munch, 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 munch. You come over here. You hold them in a position that blocks where the corner is going to be missing. So this comes out like this. And it goes right up into there. But they don't see that. Munch, 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 munch. You come away like that, and the card is munched. And yeah, that gets a strong reaction. It's worth including when you can. I put it up here as a display. So, the meat of the effect itself. To do the easy version, you then show the kings. You back jog the face king so that when you flip them over, you leave that king behind. And it's only 3 kings that go to the table. Spectator cuts the pack into 2 packets. One you place here and one you place here. The top packet with the king on it is here to your left. You do a double lift. Show the 5 of hearts, supposedly. Turn it face down, put it on the table. Pick these guys up and pull down 2, just like you did before. Do the munching, but because this is a king, it's your first vanish that's really, really clean. Right? So bang, you do munching, you do your jokes, you do an Ascanio spread to make them suspicious, because it does. And then you spread them on the table, and you do this, I think this is a Paul Harris display like this, or you rub them all on the table like that. So they know. So now they're convinced that when you put the cards in, they get eaten. Now it's just smooth sailing in Ascanio spreads. So you pick them up like this. You take 1 card off of this pile, the 2 of hearts. You feed it to the cards, munch, 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 munch. And you do the Ascanio spread. You guys know the Ascanio spread?
Yeah, but we have viewers tune in from everywhere and every age. So if you don't mind briefly explaining the Ascanio for them, that would be great.
Well, okay. This is the Americanized, sort of ugly version of the Ascanio spread. Arturo Ascanio's original move looked like this. And it was originally called the snake in Spanish because the cards are moving as if they were alive. And that's actually a really good way to do this because because it's such a weird story anyway. Natural handling really doesn't matter. And actually, a friend of mine pointed out that the best way to do it, if you really wanted to nail this thing, is to, the Ascanio spread, by the way, is a way of hiding the middle card of 4. The best way to do this is this way. You do the Ascanio spread endwise, you take these off like that, drop those, and the suspicion is here. And you show that the card's vanished. But that's fine handling and something that's really not dependent on the details of the handling. So anyway, here's the deal. You've got the card you want to hide is in the middle of a 4-card packet. It is the 5th card. You're holding the packet from above in your right hand in what we call biddle grip or end grip. Thumbs on the back, second fingers on the front. You drag the bottom card off, the bottom card of the packet, as the packet goes to the right. You go down, your little finger contacts that card, and you go up, and you're basically just scraping off the bottom 2 cards in different directions. That's the bottom card, that's the next bottom card. Your thumb comes over and grabs the top card, and you come down like this, and it looks like 4 cards, only this card here is still a double, it's never been spread. You're basically spreading all the cards except the middle 2. And if you move them around like this, it looks like that's why you're doing this. And it looks like there's nothing that could be hidden between the cards. Alan Okawa taught me this nice way to distract from when you table the cards after you've done an Ascanio. You take the card that's the double, you show the back, and as you table it, that's the moment where it might split. You turn this packet over, show them the backs of these cards. So it draws the attention up here. You then drop here, show this, and show that. Okay, it's a nice little touch, and it keeps you from getting busted. So anyway, you've done the Ascanio, you've vanished the second card, and it's now on top of the packet like that. You are then going to move 2 to the back in any way that you like, and you're going to feed in a 3rd card. Munch, 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 munch. That's our 3rd missionary. Again, you're going to Ascanio spread, but now it's going to be a triple. This is 3 cards. Like that. And you're going to move this card to the back. And you're going to square up and get a break under the top card. Because you're going to do this Derek Dingle drop-off move. You're going to say, well, where's the happy ending in that? In that, I click the heels of the cannibals together 3 times. Say the magic words, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. And as you come over here to show the top card of this packet, and you make a bit of a show of it, you drop all the cards on top of that packet. So bang. You immediately transfer what appears to be the whole packet of cards here. It's just 1 card. You pick up these, you show that card. You push this through your hands through the fist flourish, keep this hand looking like it's holding cards, and then you vanish all the cards in your hand.
So nice.
There it is. That's the easy, sensible version. Now, when I was coming up with this, cannibal cards was one of the tricks that magicians were showing each other. And we're trading around jokes and things like that. So I came up with a handling that I thought would fool magicians. Or people that are trying to bust you. And when I was just getting started in magic, like most of you, when you get started in magic, you're working for your friends. I'll put that in quotes. You're working for your friends. And you're working for your friends and family, and they're the roughest audience you're going to find because they don't give you any slack. So I'm trying to throw off skeptical people. So this is the deal. You have the card, same setup, do the same thing. You produce the 4 kings however you wish. They cut the pack. You turn over a double. You show the 2 of diamonds. All right? You put it on the table. We are now going to do the Ascanio vanish to vanish this card, which is not a king, but it's also not a card they've seen, right? It's not the 2 of diamonds. So it goes in here, munch, 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 munch. You do the Ascanio spread to vanish the card that they didn't even know was there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you turn over, and this is just standard cannibal cards technique. 1, 2, 3, and this is the double here. And you put that there on top, and you're holding a break over the bottom 2. All right? So I'm going to Vernon transfer now these 2 onto this packet. It's easy. It's right there. And if you've never done the Vernon transfer before, it's much easier to do than most people think. All I'm going to do is I'm holding on to the bottom 2 cards between my thumb and my little finger. And I've got them canted over at an angle so that I can grab the rest of the kings. So from this position, it looks like this. And it looks like I just take the kings and put them into the center of the table. What stops people from seeing these cards here is at the same time my hand drops down to pick up the packet. And they meld right in there. And so you can palm in plain sight. And what you've done is you've delivered the card that they didn't see to this packet. All right? So you pick it up. Now, even if they saw something go down, a second from now, you're going to do a double lift and show them a card that they've never seen before. It's not the 2 of diamonds, and it's not a king. So how could it have been a transfer? It's fool magicians know the Vernon transfer. So you do the double, and you're going to put a king down there. Now this is going to be your clean vanish, which actually is the one that should be. Because the first one gets them interested, the second one makes them suspicious. It's the second vanish that should be clean, and that's what this is. All right? So now the third time, we're going to vanish a third card, and we're going to do it by putting in an extra card. So you do another double. This 2 cards, this double card, which is the second missionary and the third missionary, go in here, and they go in. You do the third Ascanio, and the ending is just like before. Here, turn it over, lift up on just 1 card, and if you do a Vernay's break, that's probably better at this point. You have a nice clean edge. And the same thing, you click the heels of the cannibals 3 times, say the magic words, there's no place like home, there's no place like home, lift over here and drop all the other cards, transfer this one, oops, sorry, that one's there, and then the cannibals are gone. And that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think the second version is worth the work. But if you fear the Vernon transfer, then the first version works just fine. Now, let me tell you 2 things about this routine. One, if you want to continue, usually I use it to close, but if you want to continue doing card tricks, people are curious as to where the kings are. And if you don't reproduce them, they're going to show up in later tricks. So in order to reproduce them, this is something you can do them any way you like. You know, if you do a flourish ace production, that's a great use for that. All I do is I say, look, people ask me what happened to the cannibals. Well, it turns out that the jungle is a much larger and more mysterious place than we think. And all you need to do is say the magic words elephant stampede, and the 4 cannibals come out of the deck. 1 on the floor, but that's it. That's your cannibals. All right? And that's all. Whoop. That's good. What the heck? Yeah. That was a random card. But it should be the kings. So that's a way to end. That's obviously LaPaul's acrobatic aces, and that's a good way to reproduce them, and it gets a second round of applause. But the last thing I need to tell you about this routine is it's probably not a good idea to do this, because thinking about it recently, back in the 70s and the 80s, it was fairly topical to talk about cannibals as being natives that lived in the jungle and ate other people. These days, when you say the word cannibals to people, they're thinking about serial killers. really, if I say, like Hannibal is like a popular star. He's got a series, right? And the first 6 images that people come up with when you mention cannibals are not the one I'm talking about. What is a part of popular iconography at the moment where people get eaten is zombies and The Walking Dead. So if I was you, or if I was going to rewrite this, I'm a creature of habit, and I'm just stuck with this. If I was going to rewrite this, though, it would be with zombies and that kind of thing, because I think people are going to understand that a lot better. And you're going to find Walking Dead fans in your audiences just about anywhere you go. So that's just something to think about. Clearly, if you want to do something that made us laugh years ago, you can do this. And that's that. Any questions about that? No? Good. Okay, so that's our card trick for today. I have one more, right? Trent wanted to see one more, but we'll do that in a minute. I do want to do, one of the things that ticks me off about magic is the effectiveness of that munched card, I'll do the whole trick and people will say, oh yeah, you're the one that did the thing where the card got eaten just a little bit. And that's what they'll remember. In coin magic, the trick that ticks me off is this one. Because this is the easiest, simplest thing you're going to do. But if you want to guarantee that you're going to scare people or surprise people, this is the trick. I should probably use somebody excitable for this. And Rosie would be good, but she's likely to get violent if she's excited. Is there somebody all the way in the back? Would you mind? Great. Give her a round of applause as she comes all the way forward. Hi. Nice to meet you. Would you mind coming on this side? That's good. And your name?
Krista.
Krista. Nice to meet you, Krista. I hope I haven't scared you off with what I was saying. All right. I need you to hold your left hand out. No, you know what? I'll tell you. Let me show you. Just hold this quarter for me. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, and then I'm going to explain the effect to you. I'm going to show you a trick, and then I'm going to show you how it's done. This is a trick that uses a card and a coin. Place the coin on my hand, and you know what? I'll use the whole box.
Okay.
All right, watch. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to cover the coin with the box. I'm going to press like that. Even though I can't touch the coin anymore, the coin's going to disappear. Vanish from under the box like that. I'm going to press again. The coin comes back. All right? It's a basic little trick. I'm going to do that in your hand, though.
All right.
So you're going to see exactly how it's done. And right about here, I think. That should be right on camera. And I'm going to, I'm not even going to cover it up.
Okay.
I'm going to leave the box right about here. And I'm going to do it in slow motion with all sound effects. So you'll see how it's done. All right? Watch carefully. This is kind of cool. Thank you very much. And there it is. Now, and that's it. Okay, thank you very much. That's the deal. People scream at that. In particular, Japanese tourists, which is a market for me. So that's fun, and that's the one. The people remember. You're the guy with the card that got eaten, and you're the guy with the little hand. And obviously that was the trick that Michael Amar did on the Letterman show, and got that great comment from David Letterman. I don't think you get a better comment than that's possibly the stupidest thing I've ever seen. That was quite. I think that was meant to be and was received as a great compliment. So. This is the trick, and it's clearly a variation of Derek Dingle's coin handling of the Bob Hummer little hand gag called The Creation of Life. This is a little hand. Now, this is not the one that Michael Amar will sell you. This is one that you rip off a doll. It's a matter of your own comedy feelings and taste as to how large the hand should be. I don't like the little one that David uses, but it certainly works, and it's a slightly different illusion. This one looks like it might be a little person. You can actually find dolls that are full baby size, and that's just creepy. That's just wrong, you know. When the full size baby hand comes out like that, that's just not good. So this is the right size as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you haven't seen the original illusion before, the original idea was this: the magician places a coin on the base of his thumb, and then he makes this little cave-like position, and the little hand comes out like this, and it grabs the coin and goes in there. Look, it's kind of neat, right? But it doesn't happen on their hand, and and I still do this sometimes for that particular effect. What I've done is changed it so that you can have the hand reach out from under something. Okay, so if you're holding a box of cards or one playing card, the hand reaches out like that. If you are holding a coin purse, the hand reaches out like that. If you are holding your cell phone and you've got a picture of a baby on your cell phone, yeah, the little baby hand reaches out and grabs the coin. Okay?
And the picture on your cell phone changes, so now the baby's holding a coin, right?
Yes, yeah. And we could sell that.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
So there it is. You can do that. Now, the idea is that you get a hand, and where it would go on the little finger, instead you're going to put it on your third finger, like that. And in case you didn't know, you've taken the precaution of jamming a magnet into the hand, and this is a shimmed quarter. You can also use a bottle cap or nail clippers or anything that's stuck to a magnet. Cheap American coins made in China, whatever. So that lives in your hand here. Now, what's neat about this is actually a Fred Capps trick. You cover it like this, and it steals the coin for you. It is actually the gimmick for the first vanish. All right, and it's actually kind of neat. I mean, you could even Capps had a gimmick like this, and he would put the coin on the back of the spectator's hand. And imagine that the coin vanishes off the back of the spectator's hand. It's a pretty good trick. But so for here, they're not even going to believe that that's how you did it. But that's the vanish. And then you're holding the little hand in here. And as you turn the card over, the hand comes back out. So from the spectator's view, your hands look empty now. And you come back and you put the coin back, and the coin reappears. That goes on their hand. Yeah, there's real work on the little hand. It's a scary thing, the way we decide to waste our time. And then, because this is the moment they remember, and it helps to make the sound effect. Now, if you want to end clean, you put your finger here, and you rotate the card over, and now the little hand goes under the card. This hand takes the card, and your hands are empty. All right, so yeah, you're pretty clean here, and it's gone. Now, most people laugh. Most people are surprised, and then they laugh. Some people are surprised, and then they're creeped out. And for those people, the best possible use of this is to suggest that the hand has been somewhere else. And I didn't do it for you because you don't have it. But if before, when you greet the spectator, if you load a quarter under their watch, so now she's got her hand out and she's got the loaded quarter under her watch, and you do the vanish and the coin's gone, and you say, wait, no, this is the best part. Look where the little hand put the coin. And she turns over and there's the coin, the coin's under their watch. So we can gild that particular lily and make this goofy, scary thing a whole lot of fun. Any questions about that? Good. Oh, well,
hey,
yes, sir.
I have no idea whether you can do this or whether this is even something that is good to ask you, but somebody came in a little bit late, and they were asking if you could demonstrate Spot the Wonder Shell. Now, I'm sure it's a gag, right?
No.
No? No? Okay, I don't know about this.
Yeah, they're pushing my card trick limit here.
Are they?
I could do.
But if you could do it, it's a request that just came in, so it's up to you.
All right. I am slowly becoming the magician from Hawaii. And I'm the guy, and, Kainoa Harbottle is actually part Hawaiian. I'm not at all. So it seems to be his province to do this Hawaiian stuff. But I will show you, I do a few tricks that are based on the fact that I'm here in Hawaii. This is a really good trick that is very commercial because it plays for kids and it plays for adults. It's fun. And it also replaces those expensive, tricky leather card-finding wallets.
The kind that like Tony Miller makes, right?
Oh, yeah. Like especially those.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have a lot of trouble assembling this. As a magician, you're going to need a deck of cards, a Sharpie marker, and a silk handkerchief, all right? So here's the deal. You have a card chosen, and if you would be so kind as to take the force card. No, just take any card, except the 3 of clubs. All right, got it?
Yes.
And I need you to write your name on there. And big, bold letters so that we can see it later. This is going to be important, and it is important to this trick to have it signed.
That was Tony Miller's hair in the frame just then. If you would go back to that shot, that's Tony Miller's head right there.
There's the money shot right there, folks. I take back everything I said about the wallets, replacing wallets, because Rogaine's expensive. So,
Oh no!
Yeah, like I don't know that.
I hear Viagra's calling.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a card trick that, if this card trick lasts more than 4 hours, call your doctor. I was going to make a point about that. I have two pet peeves that I'm trying to address here, and I meant to mention it later. Number one, people that have cards signed for no good reason. It is important to have the card signed in this trick. A lot of people just have the card signed because they think it makes the whole trick more special. And the second thing is even top pros, and you've seen this before, they have a card chosen and signed, and they have nothing to say. I travel with Tony, so we have this shot of his head. But you should have something to say during it. The whole place goes quiet as somebody's and there's nothing to watch. So definitely have a line or two there. So anyway, Rosie's been nice enough to sign her card. The card goes into the deck. I'm sorry. While you were doing that, I should have been doing this. I'm just going to gather this up here. Really, it's none of your business. We'll do this in a minute. So generally, when I turn around for her to sign the card, I set that up, and it goes in the pocket here. So your card goes back in the deck. I'm not going to try and find it. I have a friend who's going to find your card for me, and frankly, the harder I make it to find, the less likely he is to actually to do this. I will shuffle just a little bit, but that's probably enough. Inside my pocket, the next big star to come out of Hawaii, bigger than Magnum, bigger than McGarrett. He is a seashell. I've named him Spot. Not big fans of originality, are we? And Spot's the island's only card-catching cowrie, the only seashell that can find the card that you chose. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can tell just by looking at the look on his face that he's ready and willing to jump across the table, dive into the deck of cards, and find your card. Go ahead, Spot, find the card. Spot, jump in there and find the card. Wait a minute, I've got a problem here. Oh, you know what the problem is? Spot says every now and then when I shuffle the cards, just by accident, your card ends up on top. So I'm going to turn him around so he can't peek. Tony, would you reach over here and show everyone the top card? Just show everyone the top card so that they know it's not already the selected card and, fulfilling our activity requirement for the hour. There it is. Is that it? No.
That's not it.
That's not it. Good. Okay, good. So that goes back here. Now Spot's ready to work. Spot works undercover. Write all my own jokes. Thank you very much. And if I could, follow me over here, sir. I need you to hold one finger up in the air like that. Very slowly and dramatically. Move it closer and closer to Spot. Give Spot a push. Oh, Spot goes to work like that. There it is. I live for that moment. I'm sorry. Just like that. Spot's looking for your card, looking for your card, looking for your card. I think he's done. Let's see. Oh, yes, look. Folded up all teeny tiny in Spot's mouth is one playing card. Let me pull that out of the jaws of Spot, and if indeed that's your card, then Rose has found her card, and Spot deserves a round of applause. Thank you very much. 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 So that's it. It replaces a card to wallet. It requires the ability to palm and fold a card. There's lots of ways to do that. It's a lot cuter than your wallet. You'll never catch on, I know, because I've been preaching this for a while. So here's the deal. There are a number of ways to approach the load, and I've got about 2 or 3. And that's good because I did a party where this was my host's, the guy who hired me, this was his favorite trick. And he followed me from table to table to make sure I did it for his friends. And yeah, you know that. So I'm changing the moment. I'm making them look over here, whatever you can do. So it's good to have a multiple method. So here's the deal. The seashell goes inside the handkerchief. That goes in your pocket. Card is chosen, controlled to the bottom. If anyone's beginning in card magic, what I learned when I was starting in card magic was you control the card to the top. That's why, so that you can control the card. It goes to the top so you can palm it off because you want to palm the top card. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The top card is the only card they can see, right? It's the hardest card to steal. Why not control to the bottom and steal cards off the bottom, right? So if I was to start over again, and actually with people that I'm talking to as students that were just starting in card magic, I've got them all working off the bottom. It's calls deliver directly to the bottom. You don't have to bring to the top. Yeah. Why show them the card that you controlled? So anyway, let's say that we've got a Ace of Hearts. It's been signed, and you've controlled it to the bottom. Put that there. You bring out your friend's Spot. You open up the handkerchief, and the handkerchief covers the deck. All right? You do a few jokes about this. Now, if you want to fold the card in your right hand and palm the card in your right hand, if all you know is how to do the one-handed top palm, here's all the cover in the world. You reach under the deck, you one-handed top, can't do it under there. You reach under, you one-handed top palm the card, and then you come out with the deck. All right? Probably a good idea if that's your method to control the card to the top. Just saying. If you can do a top to bottom palm, control the card to the top and do a top to bottom palm, or what I've been using is that Ernest Eric one-handed bottom palm. A really good acquisition. Not easy, but really good to do. In this case, your technique isn't all that important because you have all the misdirection in the world. That's the way this is designed. You say, he may not look like much, but you can tell from the look on his face. And when you say face and turn that around, everybody looks at Spot. Some people take pictures. And which unfortunately for me is right in line with my palm. So as you're taking the picture, everyone's looking here. They see Spot, and that's all they see. You set the deck down like this. This hand with the palm card goes here. Now, at this point, if you're working a table, you've usually got someone sitting right here. This hand just goes behind this person, and you do the John Scarney fold, which is, I should probably do that on camera here, which folds the card into sixths. You can put your hands on your knees and lean forward and watch Spot go to work, and fold under the table. You can just stand and put your hands behind your back. Let Spot go. Everyone's looking at Spot and what's Spot going to do. They think maybe Spot's going to jump in there and find the card. So, might as well use it. It doesn't happen. And so you pick up Spot. What's he got here? Oh, it might be the top card. You turn him around so he can't peek. It's important to do that before he goes to turn the top card over, because you don't want to look like you're fidgeting. So you just say, I'll turn it around so he can't peek. And what you do is you raise the folded card up to the mouth and usually jam it in. So it's right there like that. You don't even have to bring your hands together. Sometimes, like the last time I did it, you have to use your thumb because the card didn't fold quite right. If you've folded and palmed in the right hand, which is one of the methods I used when I was being followed around, you say, look, I'm going to turn him around so he can't peek, and you've loaded it right in there. Okay, so you've just jammed that sucker into his mouth and turn him around. Boom. So then they look. That's not the top. It's not the selected card. Gather up the corners like this. Your second finger, I don't know if I need to explain this to anyone, is kicking the shell around. Oh, yeah.
That's the real word.
Yeah, there it is right there, man. Kids love this. Parents love their kids seeing this. And you can scare people. I mean, they come up and you just kind of, whoa, and there, Spot's going to work. You then drop it like this, pull these layers away. Now, a lot of times it'll end up like this, where Spot's facing away from the audience. So you can draw out the end and you can say, look, remember that top card that wasn't your card? And it's still not your card. Oh, maybe Spot needs more practice. Oh, wait, maybe he just needs lunch. Because look, folded up all teeny tiny in Spot's mouth is one card. And the final line, you guys are all very active and very nice when there's no applause, because there's, because I like to prove, I choose to believe because they're stunned. I say, and if that's your card, then Spot deserves a little round of applause. And they clap and you say, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much. And there it is. One last thing, I was doing a set where I was doing the cards from mouth every now and then as a running gag. And after you do Spot, you go, and of course Spot does one other trick, and the cards come out of his mouth. And make a nice little running gag. So that's it. It's pretty commercial, and that's Spot, the Wonder Shell. I used to sell the shells with the little eyes on them, but you can certainly do that yourselves. So, I guess
Sweet,
that's
it.
That's
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So, I suspect that the person who asked that question was hoping to distract me into doing card magic instead of doing what I'm about to do. And I have to tell you, this is going to take a moment of reassembly and poking around. Where did I do the other coins? This is I have something of a reputation, I would guess, of doing things that are really, really difficult with coins. I know where they are. And that's only really true in this next trick. I think it's probably important to satisfy the people who are masochists in coin magic and you want to do the hard stuff. This is hard, and I'm not going to lie to you. It's also very commercial. It's part of the show I do for laymen. It is. And this is it. I say, if you go down the street, there's a magic shop, and they're going to try and sell you a gimmicked coin. And, sometimes people come up to me and say, when I'm doing coin magic, they say, is that a gimmick coin? And a lot of people don't even know what a gimmick coin is. I brought one along with me so that you can see it, so that you can know. You won't see any gimmick coins in my act. That's what I tell people. You won't see any gimmick coins in my act. I didn't say I don't have them, but you won't see any gimmick coins in my act. But this is one, just so that you will know what a gimmick coin does, what it looks like. This is a $300. It looks like a Chinese coin. You can see the hole in the coin. What happens is when you brush your hands over like that, it becomes a copper coin. The hole fills up like that. You see, it starts out looking like a Chinese coin, and then it becomes a copper coin like this. That's what you pay the big bucks for. I mean, there it is there, Chinese coin. There it is, the copper coin, just a brush like this. And, the funny thing is this. That copper coin, that's a copper crown. That's actually a Russian coin. It's about the same size as like an American silver dollar. You can see the American silver dollar. That's a picture there of an eagle landing on the moon. I don't think we actually did that. I think that's photoshopped. But that's an Eisenhower dollar, which, like I said, is about the same size as the copper coin, which is about the same size as the Chinese coin like this. That's what the gimmick coin does. Now, it's nice if you look in the front and the back, you don't see the other coins because they're actually hidden inside the hole. That's where you put the copper coin. See, so those are the two copper coins. And then the extra money is because if I take the Chinese coin and the copper coin and I put them together, they become the silver coin. Now, of course, that doesn't rule out the laws of physics. So even if it does look like I have one coin, the other one has to be somewhere. It's over here, and that brings the copper coin back. So those are the limitations. That's what gimmick coins do. Now, I don't do that. I do magic. Magic is different. With magic, when you don't look for the silver coin here or here, you just watch and you'll see things that you can't do with gimmick coins. Okay. So this is part of the advanced finger palm class. I was sitting around with Kainoa and Garrett Thomas and a bunch of guys, and I seem to have invested an awful lot of work in finger palm, which is the most rudimentary concealment you can think of. There is some advanced work on it, and it's kind of incorporated here. To do this trick, you start with 6 coins in finger palm. 6 silver dollars, a copper silver coin, which is copper on one side, and a different silver coin than these 6. If it can be a French coin or if it can be a poker chip or something, you're probably better off. In this case, this is an Eisenhower dollar, and I get to make the joke about the eagle and the moon because I don't want you to think that it's one of these. Anyway, the copper side out, that entire stack goes into your finger palm here. Okay, and that's where it's going to stay throughout the routine. The Chinese coin is here. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about finger palm. Finger palm is done with the third finger only. At least the way I do it, and that's the way John Ramsey recommended. You see a lot of books tell you, especially if you're finger palming a billiard ball, to hold the 2 fingers in like this, and you're doing this weird sign language, satanic thing. But no, the natural lay of the hands is more like this. So the third finger can be curled in a little more severely, and then the second finger a little less, and then so you have a natural curve to the hand. There's 2 positions for this. One is with the coins in finger palm. The other is your thumb comes over and holds the coins like this. That allows you to extend the fingers so you can cover the coin and do a spellbound type wipe. So there's this, and there's this, and that's all you've got going to convince people that your hands are empty. As David Roth is fond of saying, there's the wand substitute, which is holding something in the hand that's palming a whole lot of things, and it looks innocent because it looks like it's doing something. In this case, it also looks like I'm displaying something, so that helps. So there's the Chinese coin here. Here are the moves really quickly. If if you even want to do this trick, you're probably familiar with coins a little bit. So I'm going to go fairly quickly. There's the coin there. You're going to do Gary Kurtz's method for accessing the inside of a stack of finger palm coins. See, most people can access this coin in finger palm. All you do is your thumb shoves it up. But Gary came up with a way for you to lift up the stack like this so you can access the front coin. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll show you from the back side here. I'm showing them the Chinese coin. My third finger comes in. My thumb holds back the 6 silver coins, and this coin is made available to my fingers behind my extended fingers like that. So you just do this, this Chinese coin drops, and then you replace it with that coin. These coins then happily go back into finger palm. So there you are here. Now you're going to do a series of changes of the Chinese coin with the copper-silver coin. This is Saul Stone's tumble change, which is normally done this way, but I've changed it so it can be done up at chest level. It turns out that the coin is fairly invisible. You would think it would be seen, but the coin is here in thumb palm. I guess I can show you this way. It's in thumb palm, and your hand is here. Your hand comes down, folds that coin into finger palm, and leaves that coin behind. And then takes this coin back again. Same thing, folds that coin to finger palm, and you're just doing that over and over. Like this. Like that. Okay, so this hand stays back to the audience up until the end of the change, like that. Okay? So from the front, it looks like this. You can do it ad nauseum. Wow. Until you reach the point where you've got the copper coin here. At that point, your thumb pages back these coins, and so that this coin can drop back into position without making any noise. So you let it drop as you put the copper, and then you show this hand empty, because that's what you haven't been able to do the whole time. Now you're going to repeat the first change, and we still haven't shown the other side of the copper-silver coin. So now you're going to do that. You're going to push the Chinese coin back in the thumb palm so that your hand is free to simply wave as you turn this coin over. Boom. You can then take the Chinese coin into finger palm so that you can show the audience this. You can talk about this. Your angles are better while you're telling the joke about the Photoshop. And you go back into finger palm. So you're doing this from finger palm to thumb palm. As you cover that again, you say, that's the Chinese coin. And then you repeat the change again. Bam. That's the Chinese coin. So you've got the copper-silver coin here again. So you say it's not here, it's not here, it's in the hole. And you reach down in here and pretend to pull the copper coin out of the hole. Exchange their positions, because what you're going to do now is tap, tap, and you're going to do a retention pass in this hand at the same time as you flip this coin over. And it looks like the two of them become the silver coin. I did this once for a fairly knowledgeable magician. He says, that looks like FISM quality, only good. So I kind of took that as a compliment. So there it is, bang, 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 boom, there it is there. You've now got the Chinese coin in finger palm. You then reach over this way, blocking this coin as you produce the Chinese coin and just flip the other coin over. You come back like this. So you're here. You're now going to do this display from Garrett Thomas, which is you show this hand empty, and this hand comes back, and it sort of blocks the coins. The coins turn like this. You take these coins into Down's palm or edge grip, and you continue in and grab all the coins out of your finger palm. So here, grab, and you hold them in back of this hand. Okay, you're doing this. Like this and like that. And this hand comes this way, and then you spread, and you take three in each hand. You've still got these guys in Down's palm or edge grip. You then can drop them into finger palm, drop these on top, and you're done. That's it. Wow. Thank you. It isn't easy to do, but it is an ending for Spellbound. Dramatically or theatrically, Spellbound tends to go on and on and on. You tend to keep changing the coins, and it doesn't really have an ending. It just sort of stops. But this one definitely has an ending. You just have to kind of work for it. What's that? Want to see the front again? So you're here. You say, now that's what a gaff coin does, what a gimmick coin does. Now, I don't do that. I do magic. Magic's a little different. You don't be looking for a third coin. You look for, well, as many as 6. All right. Good deal.
Just so you know, Curtis, your friend Kanoa is writing in here. He's ribbing you a little bit. He says this trick would look better with edge grip.
Yeah. I used edge grip. Yeah, Kainoa and I were working together on Coin Magic when he started working with edge grip.
Yeah.
And for a long time, obviously he's developed quite a bit of a reputation for being able to handle edge grip really well. And but I'll tell you, the first few years when he was working it, I was just telling him, just do classic palm. Don't worry about it. This stuff will never catch on. So yeah, he's entitled to be grumpy.
Sure. But I do love his grain. It's spelled different. It's spelled with a Q. That the quinoa, is that is that the stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's named after him.
I hope he has a sense of humor. Otherwise, I piss somebody else off.
Yeah. That's okay. They're healthy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I was going to do one other card trick that my friend Trent over here in the audience had asked me about, and this is a worker's trick. If you're working tables in a restaurant, you know that there's going to be times when the people are at the restaurant and someone's having a birthday, and you, as the magician, should probably have something to give to the birthday child. This is probably the trick. This is the trick I would do, and it's basically just a card trick. And let me see who's a special person having a birthday. Let's imagine that this gentleman here is having a birthday. You can stay right there. It's all right. Oh, come up here so everybody can see you, and that's good. What's your name? Gabriel, I'm going to perform a little trick for you just because it's your birthday, okay? It's going to be a card trick, though. That's all I got for you. All right, so I'm going to run through the cards like this. Gabriel, just say stop whenever you like.
Stop.
You sure? Here? Okay. Remember the card? Yep. I'll show it to the audience. Everybody can see it. That's the card. Gabriel, this is the classic card trick. The card goes back into the deck like this. You're thinking of a card. At this point, do you know how many different ways there are to find the card that you just chose? You do? Because I have no idea. It's several thousand. But I'm going to use the most simple way, the most direct way, because we don't have a lot of time here, and it's your birthday, and you want to get on with it. I'm just going to look for it. But that's not the easiest way, because there could be any of these cards. So I'll tell you what I normally do, Gabriel, is I squeeze the cards a little bit, and they get a little bit smaller. And I squeeze the cards a little bit, and they get a little bit smaller. And I squeeze the cards, and they get really, really tiny. And then it's easy to see all the cards. And I think, I'm pretty sure that this one is your card. I'll put that right here. Let me just, let me reinflate the others. Like that. You see the cards go back to normal size. And you can see, you see that everything seems to be back to normal except for one card. Gabriel, what was the card that you chose?
3 of clubs.
3 of clubs? Ooh, I hope this is it. Otherwise, I'm deliberately wasting your time. There it is, 3 of clubs. I'd like you to have that as a souvenir. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll restore it back to full size. Whoops, sorry. I restored it back to the wrong card. I'll restore it back to this full size just by dragging on it there like that. There it is, your 3 of clubs. Of course, that's not really a souvenir. That's an ordinary card. To make it really special, I'm going to shrink it down one more time and hand that to you there like that. That's your card. Okay, so shrink of a card. I've been doing that for a long time. Usually I get the right card on top of the deck. I've given that one away, so I'm going to use another one. You can see how if you do this trick a lot, it's nice that the item that you give away to the birthday child, they come in packs of 52. It's pretty simple. Mm-hmm. I could have done it with a blue deck after all. Dang. So all you need is a miniature card, one of these little cards, and these cards just happen to be as tall as the poker cards are wide. So they go right here. So all you do is, this one's the 2 of clubs. So you find yourself a 2 of clubs, put it on the bottom of the deck like that, put that there, and you're ready to go. I've got the little 2 of clubs right there, covering it up like that. Easy to control. It's the same size as the other cards. It's not going to go anywhere. You can do any force with which you are proficient. Hindu shuffle force works fine in this case. Just keep everything on the bottom. Shuffle off like this. Whenever he says stop, show him the bottom. I'll tell you that there are times when a tabled Hindu shuffle force actually works. I'll show that to you. You just, again, your first card's on the bottom. You say, I'm going to cut cards to the table like this. And as I do, anytime you want, you just say stop. When they say stop, you say, are you sure you want to stop there? And this is important. You do the Jedi mind wipe. Are you sure you want to stop there? And they say yes, and then you show them where they stopped, and you put it away, okay? Somehow it looks entirely different. You can even fool magicians with that. It doesn't look like the Hindu shuffle force. But if that works, probably the Hindu shuffle force still works too. So run through like this. They say stop. There's the card. Close it up like that. You probably want to adjust it so that the cards are more or less in the middle. And you're now going to do the diminishing deck routine that stage magicians do. You're going to fan out the cards, close it up like this, squeeze the cards down lower in your hand and refan them. And all you're doing is refanning the cards from a different pivot point, and it makes the packet look smaller. I thought, when I first thought of this, I thought of it as a joke. I was thinking, okay, yeah, it's looking like getting smaller. No one's going to take it seriously. But I had someone ask me afterwards, so where did all the other cards go? Yeah. It's actually pretty convincing. And so, yeah, so you start, I'm right on the ends, I'm right on the end of the cards. And now I'm about halfway up. And I'm more than halfway up. And the fan's getting to be a circle. At this point, you can look at the cards and you can see the odd card. And you just take it out. And this is, of course, the convincer. When it comes out, they're absolutely convinced that the cards have all gotten small. You put some air in there, reinflate the deck. You're keeping an eye on where that 2 of clubs is just about. And I can see it here, so that when I spread through the cards like this, I say it looks like all the cards have become normal sized. I spread to the 2 of clubs, turn like this, and get the 2 of clubs to the top. So that's the card. You can certainly end there, but I kind of like doing a top change and turning it into the 2, mostly because I like doing this. Your fingers drag the little card off so it goes face up as this card goes here. And then these 2 cards, this last change is really nicely in visual. Here you are here. The front 2 just goes back onto the deck, and it gets small. That move is, believe it or not, Richard Kaufman's. And it's one of the few moves that he's published that are his own. And it's really...
well, come on.
No, usually...
He attributes everything else when he publishes it.
And he said, but
don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah, he definitely publishes other people's stuff as other people's stuff, which is good. But this thing, that's his. That looks great. So that's it. That's a little giveaway for birthday people. People tend to keep this in their wallets after the show. They keep it with them. I've had people come up to me and show me them afterwards. And it's just it's easier to carry around than a full card with their name on it, and it's a little bit more special.
And it happens to be one of the most commercial routines I've ever seen in my entire life. That is so brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it explains, of course, why I'm a world-famous millionaire.
That's it.
Yes. I wanted to tell people a little bit about 3-fly.
Yeah, sure.
Because I see a lot of people still trying to do it, or working on their routines. And I don't mean
What
to
is
say
wrong with you people?
what I mean to say is that I still see people working on it. They think that's the best coin trick they've ever seen, and it certainly is a good one. But I think it's a good example of knowing what the effect is. So let me get a few coins. Yes, as you know, and I was just about to say that, Three Fly is the name Chris Kenner gave to the trick. When Jonathan Townsend came up with the original, it was indeed the visual coins across. And if you haven't seen the trick, the idea, it's good if you haven't seen the trick. Excuse me, just for a second. The first thing you have to figure out when you decide to do this trick is, what does a visual coins across look like? What is the exact effect? There are three interpretations that I'm familiar with. One is that the coins are held at your fingertips, and at 1 second the coin is here, and the next second the coin is here. The other interpretation is that you see a coin visually transporting from one set of fingertips to the others. So at one point in the action, you actually see a coin in both fingertips at the same time, and then it ends up over here. Okay? That's another way to interpret the effect. The last way is that the coins are traveling across, so that the slow motion, the visual coins across would be like Matthew writes, you see the coin float across. Right? I think too many people try to tackle this effect, and they don't have an idea what the effect should look like in their minds. And so you get a jumble of those things. I think what Three Fly is, or the visual coins across is not, it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not that. Especially this thing, you didn't see any more than you normally see in a coins across. You didn't see anything, right? So when I first started tackling coins across, the visual coins across, I decided that, and this is Jonathan's original observation, you're going to miss something. You're going to either see the coins disappear, or you're going to see the coins appear. And because you can only look at one place. And if you see the coins appear, you're going to miss it when they disappear. And when in the original, he wanted to emphasize the production of a coin on his open hand. He has a way of making the coins appear like on his hand like that. So he said, look, it's more interesting to look at coins appearing than disappearing. So there it is. So let's look at that. And he knew they were going to miss the vanishes. That's the basis for my routine. And I think Paul Wilson's routine, Scottish Fly, also uses that you miss the vanishes. So the premise of the routine is that this is going to be a coins across done at the fingertips where they're going to miss something. So here it is. I say, look, ladies and gentlemen, there's an old trick where the magician takes 3 coins and holds his hands out like this, one at a time. He performs the mysterious dance of the thumbs, and the coin comes across from one end to the other. Now, that's not really fair. That's the way it's been done for years, but I closed my hand over the coins. You couldn't see what was going on. For you tonight, you've been kind enough to stick around for this long. I'm going to do the coins at my very fingertips. Not just my fingertips, my very fingertips. These are very fingertips. So do you think it's possible for a magician? I appreciate your opinion. Do you think it's possible for me to cause the coins to travel from here to here without you? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you miss that? You missed that? Okay, that's all right. I didn't tell you what to watch. Watch. I'll do it again. Watch. You know what's going to happen, right? The coins are going to go from here to here, right? Watch carefully. I understand it's kind of hard to know what to look for or where to look. And if you look over here, you miss what happens here. If you look over here, you might miss that. It's hard to say. Well, I could slow it down, but you're not going to like it. Here, slow it looks like this. Yeah, I told you you weren't going to like it. Anyway, we'll just put it, oh, good. Watch. That last coin traveling across. You know, I haven't actually seen this happen myself. This is going to be fun. Watch. Oh. So did you miss the first one? And you missed the second one? And you missed the third one? I'll tell you what. I can do it again, but they all go at once. Okay, so having a premise that they were going to miss things gives us the ending, which is actually the hardest, toughest problem to crack for coins, 3-fly, for the visual coins across. It's that once the first two have gone, they're really watching the last one. And unless you've got a really clean vanish for the last one, and most of the gimmick coins that are available to help you accomplish this trick don't really solve the last problem, the last coin problem. Unless you've got that, it's a diminishing returns. You're building up to this vanish, and if it's not very good, it's going to be a very difficult ending to sell, not an optimal ending. So, what I've done is I've just made it one more step towards the actual ending, and they all go at once, and it's a better trick, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the way I've chosen to end 3-fly. There's other ways to end it. Kainoa had a very good observation, speaking of him, about 3-fly, and that's that when you're here, they've seen the coin go across visibly a number of times. It actually makes sense to just show the coins like this and do the last one with a closed fist. So that way, when the coin goes up in the air and you hear it, you have all the attention focused here and away from the dirty hand. But adding sound and closing the hand on the last coin is another viable way to go about it. But frankly, I like this better. So here's the idea. 4 coins and years of unintentional celibacy. You finger palm 1 coin here, you got 3 coins here. The first one you say, do you think it's possible for the coins to travel from one hand to the other? And all you've done is slide 1 coin down behind the others, right? So boom. Usually they'll look here, they'll see this coin appear. Oops, I'm sorry. And for them to see that, you want to make sure that they do see that before you vanish this guy. So this coin here. So make sure this is visible before you slide it down. So there it is there. I've changed the timing. At this point, if anybody does the original Kenner 3-fly, they're going to come back and they're going to tap like this to do the switch. Almost every other routine, as soon as the coin's gone across, we do this. I've decided to stop and say, look, watch the next one. And suggesting that you can go right into it. So this making this tapping seem a little less like the method, which it is. So from the back side, here's what we're going to do. Finally, I say, look, watch, it's going to go across. And I stop, I say, like, you know what's going to happen, right? This coin, and I come in, and this coin goes into an edge grip as this coin takes its place. Yeah, does that make Kainoa happy? Look, edge grip. Edge grip, like that. So you say, now you know what's going to happen, right? This coin's going to join, they're going to fly from here to here. The coin's going to go from here to here, basically, okay? And the edge grip allows you to do it right at the fingertips. So now, you're going to say, watch these coins. It's hard to know what to do if you watch these coins. You don't see this coin. As they're looking over here, you're turning this hand down a little bit. And then you suck this coin into edge grip as you hold it up. When they look over here, you pop this coin out of edge grip. So it's hard to know what to do if you look here. You might not see what happens here. If you miss this, you're not going to see that. All right? So now you're in edge grip here on the left side. Drop that coin into finger palm. And you say, I'll do it in slow motion. You're not going to like it. There it is there. And as your hands drop on the gag, this coin goes into finger palm and this coin comes out. So you're not going to like it. Boom, told you weren't going to like it. And, and we're back. The last coin, because I'm going to go into the next, into the ending, you just want to take them by surprise one more time. And the first time, it was before they were watching. The second time was as they were watching. The third time, it's going to be on the other offbeat after you've done the gag. So you say, watch, the coin's going to go across. This is a Michael Vincent line where he says, you know, I've never actually seen this happen myself. and your hands come down a little bit. As you, on the way back up, the coin goes into finger palm, and the other one comes out. So I've never done this myself. This is going to be good. Oh. Okay. Now, as a continuation of the sentence, it's happened already. You say, oh my gosh. So you didn't see that one, did you? And that's a shuttle pass off the fan. You're going to just take the coins into finger palm one at a time. So, all right, now this hand's going to toss that coin up a little bit. It's in finger palm right now, and I toss it up like that. So what you see is a coin vanish from here and appear over there. So that's one. And now I've got it in finger palm again, so I'm going to toss it up again. And it's these coins making a noise, right? These coins are making the noise. And you see just this isolated coin flopping back up into my hand. But it looks okay. And this one goes on in here, and you see that coin flop up and close again. Sometimes you see the empty hand, but it just doesn't register like that. So you miss this one, you miss this one, you miss that one. So you do your Ramsey subtlety here. I can do it again, and this coin either goes into finger palm or third finger curl grip, but they all go at once. And there's your ending. Yep. So that's it. I believe it all comes from knowing what your premise is from the very beginning. It is possible to accomplish those other effects, by the way. Reed McClintock had a really interesting handling for three fly, whereby the theory was that you would see the coins in two places at the same time. And it was this rocking motion like this, which brings the coins in and out of the spectators, it brings it out of the focus of their eyes. And it's sort of like a Star Trek teleporter working across. The other problem with three fly is diminishing returns on the productions, because this is actually the more dramatic thing. The first one, that's really good. I mean, this coin appears at your fingertips. It's very clear. The second one, well, okay, there's some sound and there's two coins. The third one is the least impressive production. So what Reed did for his was this, and then he put the coins down into the spectator's hand. And then I think he went this way for the next one. So then you're left with the last one. And of course, then he wasn't able to solve that problem, although he did a pretty good job with it where the coin went across. Anyway, that's three fly. Anybody have any thoughts? Three fly? Yes, sir.
Could you briefly go over the mechanics of loading and retrieving the coin to edge grip while you're holding a coin at your fingertips?
That's actually part of the challenging part of it. I'm gonna say the question again. You at one moment you are producing a coin from edge grip while you're holding a coin, and you're putting a coin into edge grip while you're holding a coin.
Yes.
So if you'll show us that would be awesome.
All right. Did you see Kainoa's lecture?
Oh, by the way, he wrote in. He said he's now happy and he's a healthy grain.
Okay, good. Because, he's all over this stuff.
Yeah.
And I learned it from him. The idea is to get a coin into edge grip, you got to display it at your fingertips. And one of the advantages of edge grip is the fact that the concealment is so close to your fingertips anyway. Right, so that's why you often see it used in fingertip work. Your second finger comes out here and contacts the coin. Where it contacts the coin is going to depend on the third thing. It just balances there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now when Kainoa does it, he's got his finger here and he's kind of sliding it along his index finger. I tend to just hit the coin and it goes into position. It really depends on the size of the coin compared to the size of the length of your finger. But for me, all I got to do is curl it in, and it goes into an edge grip position like this, and then you're in edge grip. All right, so it's a single finger thing. Also, if you've ever vanished a coin into downs palm, if you look in Bobo's, the description for of the technique is to cross your finger over like this, and to put the coin into downs palm. Yeah. You can actually just kind of balance the coin on your second finger and stick it into downs palm, and the vanish is a lot faster that way. As a matter of fact, Rick Anderson, I believe he's in Washington, does this at the tables for people. He'll find some like a kid or a child, someone who's got their head right here, and he'll say, "Look, I'm going to just take this coin, and I'm going to put it into a little hole in the air, and then I'm going to take it out of here, and I'm going to take it out of the hole, so the coin goes into the hole in the air and comes back out." And that's only possible by being able to very quickly downs palm the coin, and that's faster if you just carry it there with your second finger and don't waste time gripping it like that. So anyway, that's going in, and I guess coming out is very similar. The second finger goes on there, the coin balances there for a bit of a second, and then comes forward. So yeah, let's see me do this now. Here we are here. My second finger is going to push against that coin.
That one's that one's in the front, huh?
And that one comes out. Yes, it's the one in front.
Yeah.
And it uses the back coin to pivot on.
Yeah. Ah, wild.
Now there's an early vanish in the literature, which looks like this. And the coin ends up here. And it's not. I used it in the coercive purse actually, but it's not that far from that to this.
Right.
Other than that, it's a lot of practice and over the bed. Over the bed. Don't. Not
practice over the bed.
Not over that grating that we have here for some reason.
What's about the SD coin manipulation from Bobo?
The switch? Oh, that thing. Yeah. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, there's some work on that. The SC coin manipulation is this weird thing where you show your hand empty in a natural fashion. What's that? Yeah, and then the coin appears in this really cool method. It's this eerie production of a coin. Getting into position is difficult. As Tony says, there are some ways to sort of naturally look while you're doing it. Your thumb kind of fills that space.
Yeah. The use for that, and I've seen this, is it's a great moment if you're doing a miser's dream routine, and you can get into that position, and then you just pull your hand away from the coin as it's produced. It's about the only use I've seen for this thing. It's basically like a card manipulator doing, God, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's a pushed out, slow back palm production is what it is.
So you do an isolation of the coin.
An isolation,
yeah. So the coin stays and you move your hand back.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
like
looks
you're
good.
just peeling it out of the air, and that's,
There's a magician I met at Magifest who does some actual, has some actual uses for this, including combining it with the fingertip muscle pass. And you'll have to see him there.
Well, do you remember his name now, or we'll talk later and we'll get his name?
Colin. Colin's his first name.
He'll be here.
Don't have the last name. Don't have his last name.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Yep.
So, anything else I can tell you?
No, that was it. And we'll talk more about other stuff. If you'll do me a favor and give Curtis another big round of applause. And Curtis, if you don't mind, bring in a deck of cards over here. Bring a deck of cards over here, because somebody wanted you to show one more thing. Yeah, just bring your stuff over and have a seat.
All right.
And, we'll talk about other things, But before we get into just talking about, road stories and fun stuff like that, let's talk about the bottom palm that you use, okay? Because we'd like to see a better, more exposed teaching of that.
Okay.
If you don't mind just showing it to us one more time.
I suppose I can show it to you. It's described in a footnote in Ernest Erich's book.
Right.
And I'm told by people who know that I'm not doing it right. So,
okay, yeah. But, if it works for you, what do the people say is the difference? Because I've actually learned it too, and like most people that have been in this for a while, we have our preferences. And just like you said, if you were starting it all over again, you'd control everything to the bottom of the deck, and so would I. And that's the most honest thing I've ever heard anybody say about a deck of cards. if you're learning card magic to begin with, control your cards to the bottom. It makes perfect sense. But I've always controlled mine to the top, so I never really had much use for a bottom palm.
Right.
You know? So for me, I've always learned, a top palm was the way I did it, and side steals and things like that. So although I've learned this, I probably do it wrong too.
Yeah, I don't agree that I do it wrong, but
Well,
it
yeah,
works,
all
right?
All right, fair
the
enough.
card ends
Yeah, fair
up,
enough.
card ends up where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right. And that I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
If the audience doesn't see it and the card ends up where it's supposed to be, how wrong could that be?
Yeah, right. So I think I can tell you a little bit about how to learn this thing. The way I learned it is to start with the deck fairly high up and not worry about whether or not people can see you do it at first. Don't do it in public like that, but don't worry about covering it. So I started with the deck way up here, and the action of taking the deck down into dealing grip was actually the cover for the palm and part of the motive force. So the idea is that you get a break on the bottom card.
Yeah, expose that so
Right
you
here.
can see. A little pinky pull down. Yeah.
And pull the card, I guess, to that angle towards your thumb. So it's gone from
Yeah, it pops around your second finger. It's pretty
yeah.
straightforward.
So there, and now I lowered the deck down and use the deck to push the card into the palm.
That's the part you're doing wrong, but I got to tell you, that's a good thing to do. And I don't care what Aaron Fisher says. Because he's one of the guys. He was always over me on that kind of stuff, too. But, if it looks like your hand is doing something that it might normally do, that's still okay. And he's probably okay with that, too.
Yeah,
as long as it looks like your hand is in a natural position and there's no strain on it,
That,
then you're doing fine.
we're using gravity, so Aaron should be happy.
Right, and yeah, there you go, exactly. Aaron loves gravity.
But I'm not suggesting that's if you're able to do that, I'm not suggesting that you're able to do the palm.
Right.
But that's a good place to start to learn the mechanics of it. Eventually, nowadays I use the base of my thumb to get the card.
Oh.
All right.
That's, okay, you are doing it wrong, but I think that is a subtle way of approaching it because you have actually no finger strain in that. So you may have your own way.
Yeah, well,
right?
I actually have somebody else's way. I understand this is somebody else's.
Somebody
method.
else has come to the
deck
base
just
of the thumb
drops
as well.
into position like that.
That's really gentle.
So I've been doing either that or
all right.
yeah. So here
I've got to play with that because that's super fun. And you just lay it
you
on the
set
base
it
of
there,
your thumb.
yeah,
And then
it
there it
pivots
is.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There
great.
it is.
Wow.
And it can be done so that the deck just goes from here to there, and there's nothing to be seen.
I
See?
just did it, and it doesn't look like I did anything. I love that. Okay.
I wish I could tell you whose it was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The other way to do it, if you're in a situation where your hand's not sticky, is to.
I don't find myself in those situations.
Yeah. Okay. For those of us who do, you can do the pinky pull down.
Have you read about me?
I thought it was just the fingers, but that's okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Colin McNamara is the guy who does the fingertip
McNamara.
muscle pass. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, so we'll look him up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think he's doing something with someone to get it out there. It's really
good.
crazy stuff, but
Good.
yeah, he does. He actually uses that for something.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. All right, so that takes care of our last little technical issue.
Okay, good.
Because you already talked about and you showed us some unusual work for Spellbound, which is really neat. Do you have anything else that's like an unusual approach to Spellbound? Just any unusual move that.
Yes.
Now I know because we printed some of this stuff in the Minotaur years ago that you were using the Vanish as an exchange.
Yes.
But can you do it? Do you want to show
man.
everybody? It's been a while, hasn't it? So the Spellbound happens as the coin is turning over. All
right.
It's really pretty cool.
A long time ago, Al Goshman took Di Vernon's advice and to learn one thing better than anyone else in the world. And the one thing that Goshman learned was Spellbound, the Spellbound changes. Now the thing is, he never had it in his act.
Yeah, right.
But he did an amazing spellbound. I don't know how he did it, but in trying to duplicate what he did, I came up with this. And it's, you have the coin here like this, and the coin changes into the Chinese coin.
Look at that.
And
you want to do it again with that one?
yeah, so here it is here, and there's the change. Now, I have not succeeded in teaching this to just about anybody.
Yeah, I know.
Bradley Morgan does a really good job with it. A couple other guys I know, but it's a difficult thing to understand. There are a whole lot of changes.
What is that?
And all you're doing is kind of producing a coin out of finger palm. It's described in the book, but there it is there.
Beautiful.
You have to kind of see it in action. And that's what it looked like when Goshman did it. I don't know what his technique was.
Right.
This is mine. It is actually pretty useful if you guys want to know.
Yeah, because we had talked about this before. If you're exchanging a regular coin for a gimmick coin, or how it's a billet switch, which is just insanely good. The $1 to 100. I mean, there are all kinds of uses for this thing.
Right. Yeah. And for this, in this case, I used to do a production. This is still my go-to production for working at tables, where you've got nothing. And you make something appear, and that's the twist change without a change, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you can use it as a shuttle pass. You can say, look, if I take a little piece of this coin, wait a minute, let me tell you, I take a little piece of this coin, I get another one here, all right? And then between these two, I can get a third one.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And that's that move used as an addition, a production, and a shuttle pass. It's like the classic pass with cards in that it looks like nothing has happened. And yet you've done something fundamental. You've taken the coin that was here and putting it here.
Yep.
So you could actually do coins across that way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing tabled work with them.
Right.
This is the last coin or something like that or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah. So show us what you're using as well as you can to bring the coin into play.
Okay.
I don't know what the best angle on this thing is, but
the incoming coin is in a fairly high finger palm, as opposed to normal finger palm, which is here on the third part of the third joint section of the third finger. It's actually up here, and that may limit the size of the coin that you can do this move with. And the thumb simply pushes the coin forward, like that. Right. At the same time, there's a coin at the fingertips, and I'm turning the coin backwards. The top of the coin comes back towards me, and this hand, the left hand is turning over, and then the thumb reaches all the way across and pulls that coin into an identical high finger palm.
So it's going finger palm, and then push.
Right.
Yeah, so you're not even going into full palm.
Right, but what you're thinking of is actually push.
Yeah.
The incoming coin drives the move, and you don't pull the other coin out of the way until that coin is already coming in.
Yeah.
So that's the change from this side.
Sweet.
So
that looks great. Yeah.
I wish more people could do it, but I don't know what else to tell you about it.
I appreciate that you're willing to show it to us. Let's see what other people are. How do you clean your coins? Just somebody wants to know. What do you use to keep the stuff?
Where's my towel? A towel from the hotel is a favorite technique.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I was just telling Trent, actually, in my stage bag, I have a towel. And almost every bag I bring to a show, there's a towel there, because you never know what's going to be on the coins or your other props. And it's just one of the most useful things in the bag.
Right. So you just obsessive cleaning.
Well, right? Just before the show, like now, again, the coins through use have become sticky, so they ought to be cleaned again.
Right.
Yeah, I don't do anything special for the coins normally. At least the coins I work with. There are some that I've had to dig out of storage, and those, it's silver polish, whatever.
Sure, sure.
Now,
someone here says that you need to be a vegetarian and ride a bike everywhere like you do. So if you want to master all of this stuff, you don't eat meat and
Well,
and exercise.
Definitely
right?
see
exercise is important.
Exercise is important.
Very important.
Definitely see my Facebook page because Rosie took a picture of. We were out here. Earlier today? Yesterday. We were out here yesterday, and there was a bicycle outside of the Penguin Theater, and it had Honolulu license plate on it.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So someone's clearly biking a long way.
Columbus, Ohio is actually a pretty cosmopolitan place, so you'll see all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, everybody that lives here laughs, but it's absolutely true. Now, let's ask some more questions about what's relevant as far as scripting and theater and that kind of stuff. Besides the fact that coins are money, what are some ways that you make them relevant to audiences? Now, you've actually shown a few of them, so if you go back and look at it, you're talking about them as the guys on the deserted island. That makes sense. What are some other things that you use as far as making them connect?
Well, I believe that there's. I've made the argument that there are only 3 ways to present magic to people. There are 3 formats. It's either a story, a lecture, or a game. The idea being that in a story, you're illustrating a story, and the story is actually what's important. And the audience wants to hear the story. As a matter of fact, Gabby Perea says that Miguel Guea says that it's Gabby's idea on Miguel's discs, that sometimes what you want is a bland narrative. You don't want the story to be too good because the audience will want to hear the ending. And if what you're offering is really miraculous technique, you have a move or a technique that really makes it look like the coins are going through the table or something like that, or penetrating something, you want to go for something mundane like coins through the table, a very simple plot. Because you don't want them to get all wrapped up in the story.
Well, and if I could interject, because at that point, it isn't critical that it's a coin.
Right.
It's critical that it's a solid object that we're familiar with,
right.
It's a common object, and there's a table, and it's doing something absolutely impossible.
Right.
So in that way, it's relevant because it's a solid through a solid.
Right. But and then there are other situations where the trick is not so good. Actually, with a story presentation, the trick is more or less irrelevant. It's the story you're telling. And you're illustrating it as best you can with the magic, but really the magic takes a back seat. A lecture, it's sort of an equal sharing. You are doing the magic, and the magic has to be appreciated, but you're doing the magic to make a different point. It's like trade show work, or it's presentations of magic that pose as lectures, like a lot of David Roth's table routines, where he's saying, look, here's a hole that's portable. I'm going to demonstrate to you how it works. Right. Or here's an interesting fact about sound. You can make it drop into a glass. And it's in the guise of a lecture.
Yeah, right? like pseudo super science kind of thing, or explanation for a weird phenomenon.
Right.
Yeah.
And also it has the dynamics of a lecture. You're the teacher. You're talking. There's some interaction with the audience, but not a lot. In a story presentation, most people don't interrupt the storyteller. So it's almost entirely a monologue. And then in game presentations, it's sort of an interactive experience. And like the hopping half, where you're saying, look, it's in game presentations, it doesn't matter how impressive or impossible or motivated the effect is. It's any effect will do. We're playing a game. You're going to try and catch me. And I have 2 coins, a copper coin and a silver coin. I put one in my pocket. It comes back. I mean, that's got to be the most fundamental, most ridiculous, simple, childish plot.
Yeah, right? Maybe only second to which hand.
Okay.
Right, but
that's true.
Right?
Yeah, so it's what makes it interesting is that it's such a simple thing. It's a game. I'm going to sneak this coin back into my hand. You try and catch me. Some people are surprised when people try and catch them, when that's their presentation.
And there is a lot that becomes more complex that's based on that, like the cylinder in coins, is based on that.
Yes. People say you should never challenge an audience. That's something you hear a lot as you're coming up as a magician. Never challenge the audience. And people forget that Slidini's entire act was based on challenging the audience. If you look at Di Vernon's presentation for the ambitious card,
Right.
it's challenging the audience.
Yeah.
It's a sucker trick.
Yeah.
It's not so much that you should never challenge the audience, but you should only do it when you can't get caught.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So sometimes people that are starting in coin magic, they ask me, how can I avoid getting caught? How can I avoid being challenged? And it's usually one of three things. One of them is they have a tell. All right, their technique just isn't where it should be, and the audience actually sees how it's done, or at least gets a suspicion. So one, learn how to do what you're going to do. Two, it's there's nothing else going on but the trick, right? If all I'm doing is showing you a puzzle, you're going to try and figure it out. You're not telling any jokes. You're not making this any more meaningful than what it is in any way. That's the way a polite person participates in a puzzle. They try and figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody with a 3-card Monty not doing any kind of spiel. Just.
Yeah, and why are people always grabbing at the money card?
They're
Right?
grabbing the card.
Because
Right.
that's the only role they have.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last thing is the trick they did before. I think a lot of people don't appreciate that the audience is learning about you as you're doing your show. And if your first trick is the one that is a game and invites them to catch you, don't be surprised if in your third trick they're still doing that, because that's what they've learned about you.
Right.
That's the way we participate in your show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's usually the answer I give.
Yeah. All right. And let's see. When you first started, just as kind of an aside, you said if you applaud at my confusion, we're going to get along well. But you also use that a little bit in some of the routines, like it surprises you.
Yes.
That it confuses you. Can you talk a little bit more about these moments of confusion that you build in, and why they're important to the way that the magic's received?
Who's the guy? Gerald Deutsch? Deutsch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He named Cartoon. By the way,
really,
is Gerald still with us?
I believe so.
In New York. Yeah, because he's the guy. He's credited in the original instructions. I had the great trick, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to call this thing. So I met him, and he was like, Cartoon.
That's great.
Yeah.
He's a very clever man.
Gerald is great,
and he's got this thread on the Genie forum that's been running page after page after page, and it's almost exclusively him. And he's trying to get people to do what he calls perverse magic. And that's magic that's not what the magician intended. And the magician is the victim or the subject of magic that happens around him.
Well, I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's like the intention, the magic intention gone awry, because you see that in a lot of the popular entertainment that is about like real magic, like Harry Potter and so on and stuff like that. They don't quite get the spell right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Teller was the one that pointed out, if your character is someone who can do anything at will, there's really not too many places to go dramatically from that. You know.
Where's the suspense? It's going to happen. It's going to be there.
Yeah. Superman taking on the problems of daily life that he's completely adequately capable of taking care of. It's not really interesting. Right. There's no. So it's good to have some of that. The coins are acting on their own. I was thinking about that with regard to the one coin routine. The flurry.
We're just about to get into that, as a matter of fact. So they might connect together, because somebody was asking about what's like your kind of go-to one coin routine for laymen. Boiling it right down. You got a single coin. What do you do? Or do you not do it? It's your. I know you have feelings about the one coin routine.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to. Sometimes I'll do it. Okay. It feels to me like not so much that it's a bad trick to do, but I think I lack an ending. If I have only one coin and I feel like I want to perform, more likely than not, I'll do the coin that falls up, because it's reliable and it's quick, and people appear to be almost always interested in it, and it has an ending. Boom, it goes up and that's it.
Yep.
If I'm doing a one coin routine, I might end with the coin that falls up, just because that's reliable. I have simply vanished the coin at the end. That's not too bad. But really, it's the lack of it having some place to go.
Sure.
That really keeps me from doing it a lot. David Ross Fleury was based on the Slidini one coin routine. And I think they have different feels just because of the way of the techniques that are available. David, especially when I see other people do David's routine, it seems very intentional. They say, I take a coin, I put it over there, it comes over here. And I think the essence of the effect when Slidini did it was that you never know where the coin's going to be. It was sort of a puppet show, really. The coin had a character. The coin was acting on its own. And it's there, no it's not, oh, there it is there. And there's all of that that's missing from when a lot of people do the flurry. It's possible to do that, but you have to show some confusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have there has to be some acting behind it. And that's a real challenge. It's a challenge because most magicians don't study any acting whatsoever.
Right.
They learn the moves, they can do the moves, and then they want to show that they can do the moves.
Right.
But the problem is, if you're showing that you can do the moves, it's the same thing. If you're always in control, what's the suspense?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I never had any trouble with the acting is looking like I'm in trouble. Because I think I've had enough of that, and I can draw on experience. I'm told I'm very convincing when. But yeah.
I think we also find, as professionals, that if there is a little bit of that confusion up front, where something happens, we didn't expect it, then later in the show, if anything goes wrong, we can get out of it so much more easily.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Right?
They never know. Once you do the first one, they never know when you're actually in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much better to set a tone where yes, everything's going to eventually work out, but it may not be exactly what I expected either.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about this deck of cards.
Okay.
Curtis has a deck of cards here, which has some things written on them. Okay. 52 different questions,
things people have asked me,
topics,
things I have rants about,
Yeah.
and have ranted about in certain lectures before.
Yeah.
I've also thrown in some war stories and things that have become relevant recently. The top card is probably what I wanted to mention.
Want to start with that one?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the biggest change in what I've been doing in lectures and what I've been working on.
Can I shuffle these?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't. I just asked to be polite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like it's going to do it.
Has it ever been shuffled?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it actually was. Yeah,
oh,
not to
really?
mention
Okay.
it, yeah.
All right.
Just to see what would come
I just
up.
wanted to make sure that I wasn't, really messing them up too badly.
Yeah. No, it's not like I'm going to produce all the coin trick questions.
All right.
Yeah. It's one of the things I've been talking with Tony Chang from New York, and Tony is a very active proponent right now of the idea that there's nothing wrong with not being a professional magician. You can love magic, you can perform beautiful artistic magic, but you don't got to be a pro at it.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it gives you the freedom to do what's good,
Yeah.
because you're not doing it for a living. And I can understand that. When I was a pro, you had to do what people liked, and you had to do what the client wanted. He doesn't do that because he's determined that he's going to be what we call a social performer. Perform for his friends, perform for strangers in bars. And it turns out that all the lectures I've done up until now, they're like the lectures that I saw up until now, and they're based on the idea that everyone in the audience wants to be a professional magician when they get older, as they develop. That seems to be like the universal goal. It turns out that's not the goal. I think there's a lot of people in this audience that aren't going to be professional magicians, don't even want to, but they would like to be able to do something meaningful, something strong for their friends.
Sure.
There are different bag of goals and objectives with social magic. Social magic, you don't care about reset because you're only going to do the show. You can trick once, right?
Yeah, once. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to get it ready, and then you're going to get your friends together. You're going to
do it, right?
Yeah.
And you
and
can
it's
always,
an exciting thing.
Yeah, and you can go off and you can reset it later,
Yeah.
right? You don't have
Yeah.
to be immediately reset. Number two, though, you are going to get challenged, and you are going to. Things have to be examinable at the end.
Yeah.
Right. Things have to be short. You're not hired to be there for any particular length of time, so you don't really need a multi-phase routine. What you need is something striking and fast and hits one point, and then you're done. And I've changed some of my routines so that I can do them in social settings. There's actually a third category, which is the social setting for the guy who everyone knows is a magician.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you have a little bit of leeway. But the true social magician can do what Henning Nelms was talking about in Magic and Showmanship. He can steer the course of the conversation to the effect that he wants to create. He can then put on this effect that may be genuine, right? It looks impromptu. That's another thing. Social magic, it's kind of important to look, it's important for things to look impromptu. So when I'm working socially, I'm working coins, but I'm working with quarters and pocket change.
Right.
Professional, it's sort of unprofessional to not have coins and cards and things. So, who's going to believe that you were paid to show up and entertain for an hour, but I didn't bring anything. Let me borrow a coin. You should have these things. So you don't get as much benefit from looking impromptu. So when I hear people that say, "Look, I work restaurants, and I would never do this and that trick because the item doesn't look natural." You're allowed to be unnatural, right? I mean, you're a table magician.
Completely. You're creating your stage.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's already unnatural just to approach a table and say, "Hey, here I am."
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So certain things that I've been preaching in my lectures are still, I think, true for people that want to be professionals. Things about conveying character and all of that. But they're not as true for someone that wants to do social magic. So I've been rethinking some of the routines, like I said, so that they're one beat, or at least a modular, instead of having to go through all 3 or 4 phases in order to make your point, and work cleanly and that sort of thing. It's something we're thinking about.
You were. I don't know if you did it. Did you do quartermaster?
I didn't do it.
Can you do it?
Yeah,
because that's the kind of thing you're talking about, isn't it? Do you mind performing something else? We don't normally do this. Normally we just give the guest a break once they sit down. But if you don't mind doing something else, we'd love to see it.
Well, everyone's been here for what? An hour.
No, believe me, we are used to much more than this. They all want to see it, right? Yeah. Come on, you cool with that? You cool with that? Let's see some more. Once again.
Okay. So.
All right. Do you need to set it up a little bit?
No.
Okay.
This is a routine that I've been doing for stage work. Strolling work, and it gets to another question that people have.
Yeah.
And that's what size coins should I use? I use silver dollars for most of my visual work, stuff where people have to see the coin. It comes from back when I was a kid and I was doing magic with half dollars. Magic with half dollars is safer as far as angles are concerned. And if you're working for your friends and you're in the trenches and they're going to grab things out of your hands, you may want to work with half dollars. If your hands aren't really big, I would stick with half dollars if I could. But when I would work with half dollars and I would make the coin appear, people would say, "Hey, do that trick you did with the quarter." They would remember it as a quarter, and it just doesn't look impressive when I make a half dollar appear. So I'm working with silver dollars, and they're okay for my size of hands. But one of the problems with working with silver dollars is that you can't count on, when you place them in someone's hand, that a person is going to be able to hold it in their hand without adjusting it. And if you've just switched the coin, you don't want them adjusting the coin. So the way I've been working is with silver dollars and then quarters. So I will get their attention by doing visual stuff, and then once I move in close and want to do magic in their hands, I'll work with the quarters instead. And that fits in everybody's hands. Everybody can see them because we're closer now. Visibility is not such a problem. And I don't do tricks where there's no sense doing Miser's Dream with quarters. Because it's not the visual stuff. 3 fly, you don't do with quarters, that kind of thing. So anyway, this is the routine I would do once I'm getting down into their hands. It's just 6 quarters and a odd coin. And let me see. Someone who can hold on to money. Have I done this trick for you? Oh, would you come on up stage just for a second? Give this gentleman a round of applause. All right. Tell everyone your name.
Andrew.
This is Andrew. Andrew and I met at MagiFest. But Andrew, I don't think I did this trick for you.
No.
This is a little trick with a bunch of coins. And would you hold your right hand out for me? That's good. I'm going to put them in your hands in a way that so that everyone knows how many coins there are. I call it counting. All right, so you see 2 coins? Yep, 2. Another matched pair is 4. 2 more makes
6.
And the singleton makes
7.
Close your hand on them. Turn your hand over like this. That's good. I'm going to pretend, Andrew, to take a coin out of your hand. I'm going to pretend to place it in my hand. The thing I need to tell you is that I have a pretty good imagination. And if I pretend to do that, sometimes I can convince people that I actually did. You had 7 coins. I've got 1. You should have 6. Go ahead and count them back into my hand one at a time. 1, 2,
3, 4,
5, and
6.
6. And that's it, right? Nothing else in your hand. Good, 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 good. Now, you didn't know what I was going to do. I'll tell you, we'll try it again. 2 coins, a mixed pair. 2 more makes 4, and 2 more makes
6.
5 and 6. Close your hand. That's good. Look, I'm just going to take the coin like this. I'm going to place it in my hand. It's going to appear. That's 2 out of your hand. You should have just 4 or 5. I'm sorry, 5. That's 5, just like that. I'll tell you what, we'll do it one more time. We'll do it one more time. Hold your hand out for me. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Close your hand on it. Good. I'm going to take the coin like, oh, you know what? You pretended. With the other hand, pretend to take that coin, drop it into my hand. You know what? I think your imagination is probably about as good as mine. There it is there. You've only got 4. You know what the problem is? It's all these other coins. Andrew, if I got these coins out of the way, and you would know when you're holding this coin in your hand if it was gone, right? So hold on to it. Turn your hand over like that. That's good. I'm going to make that coin disappear from your hand. You know what? Have you ever done this before? No. I'll do it along with you. Watch. All I do is this and like that. Did you feel your coin disappear?
No.
Really? Not even just for a little while? No. Sometimes they disappear and they come back really fast. You didn't feel that?
No.
No. I kind of felt something. It's kind of strange, but sometimes it disappears, it comes back, and when they come back, they get confused. I end up with your coin, and you end up with mine. No, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. You know, I'll tell you what, we'll make it simpler. In addition to the coins, we'll just use 5 coins in this little soda cap. So take a look at that, make sure it's all right. Looks good? Okay, hold your hand out for me again like this, but turn it over so I can use the back of your hand. Because this is going to be the balance and skill part of the show. I'm going to balance those coins on the back of your hand like that. Can you see them there?
Yep.
Watch carefully. I'm going to cover it up like this. Are the coins under there?
Yep.
Watch. All I do is this and this. Okay, and maybe this. And the coins. And there it is. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's the way I did it professionally. Okay. And it is the trick that is, I guess it appeared in Buckley's Principles and Deceptions as 7 pennies. Terry Lynn's trick, the 7 pennies. And it is, in the original, you do the same move 3 times. And it's basically stealing the coin out of the spectator's hands. I found that is a great format for a trick. It's not any harder than coins across, and it's a much better trick. And you learn, as a student of magic, you learn to manipulate the spectator as opposed to learning how to manipulate the coins. So I think it's a trick that we should have started with. Instead of starting with coins across, it's probably a better idea to start with this trick. Could I borrow your hand again? Andrew, back up over here. I'll show you the basic deception, this is the way it appears in the Buckley book, which is actually the first phase that I did, except that he goes one at a time. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On 6, this coin just taps, and then you make a big deal out of coin number 7, cleanly on their hand, all right? And they skip right past 6 to 7 because 7's the last one, and there it is. And then you do whatever you're going to do to make the coins appear one at a time. And that's the way the original went. You did the same thing again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. That's 5, and that's 6. I have a friend who does this in Hawaii with pennies, and he gets away with it every time. Obviously, if you're not getting away with it, open your hand. Sometimes people are more skeptical. They're watching a little more carefully. If you feel you're not getting away with it, you can stop right there. All right? If you're doing really well, you can do it one more time. Now, all I've done is I've changed some of the moves to make it a little bit more deceptive, I think, and add a little bit more variety. I'll show you what I've done if you hold your hand out for me again. I am going to do, I'm going to put the coins into his hand 2 at a time. That way, when I steal one coin, there's still the feeling that coins hit his hand. So 2, 4, 6, and on 6 I'm going to just put my thumb on this coin and drop that one. And then 7, this coin goes here. And it's the odd coin because it has to be. All right, so there it is there. Grab the first one out of his hand. All right? The second time, I'm going to put the odd coin in first because I'm going to be switching the stolen coin for one of the coins in my hand. So 2, 4, and on 4 I'm going to steal one, but he's still going to hear a coin hit his hand. And I show him 2 left. All right, so here, and I come forward like this, 2, and I come over like this, and I do a shuttle pass where it looks like I'm taking one coin in each hand. Really, this coin's ending up in finger palm, right? So this end's being added, just like that first trick we did. You're adding one and taking it away, leaving one in finger palm. So there it is there. So, and I go 5 and 6. So this clean hand shuts his hand. All right, and so then this clean hand does this, and you can make this coin appear like that. There it is there. Open your hand up again. There we are. Now we're going to do it one at a time because we've only got 5 coins left. So that's 1, 2, 3. On 4, I'm going to tap here and hold back the coin in my hand and do a shuttle pass. 5, 6. So it looks like the hands are empty. I couldn't be holding one back. So that's fake the drop and then do the drop. So 5, boom, boom, like that. He's got it, okay? That's the 3 moves to get the coins out of their hands. You then do the reason I have the odd coin is it provides one possible ending. So I take out these coins, and you just palm one of these coins, and you say the problem is the other coins. If I get rid of them, this one's the only one in your hand, and you do a palm-to-palm change. This coin goes into your palm, and you give them the quarter to hold. You just pretend to pick up a quarter and drop it in your hand, and you've got a transposition. Okay? You don't have to end like that. You can have a coin that's bent and ring in a bent coin. He holds it. Oh, I can't get that coin out of your hand. He opens his hand. The coin's bent. You can end with the coin under his watch. You can end with the coin being a shimmed quarter, and the little hand comes out of the coin purse and grabs the coin off his palm. It's probably the funniest ending. Or you can go on and do what I did, which is the cap and pence. I've got a little soda cap, and it has a stack inside. This is a stack of quarters that's been hollowed out and a magnet stuck in there. There's a shim, a piece of tin cut from a tin can under the plastic on the lid, so that when this half gets covered, this stack gets covered by the coins, it picks up. All right. It's hollowed out inside so that when you need to, your third finger can go in there and press, and see that brings the stack out. So that's what allows you to get the stack out and then into palm later on. So that's in your pocket. You just reach into your pocket. You reach into your pocket, pull that out like that, and come up with the empty container. Put 2 of these away, so you've only got 5 left. Come over and do the time-honored switch for this. Place it on the back of your hand. On the back of your hand, that's good. Over here. Cover this up like that. There we are, watch. I kind of like to imply that bringing my hand under here is not intentional. So I do this, which is a good chance to show your hand's fairly empty. I do this and this. All right, maybe a little bit of this. And I just reach down here to pull his fingers, his bones apart. And that's what gets my hand under here. So the coins drop. Pick that up like that. Your third finger snags the stack, and you're done. That's it. Thank you.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay.
Beautiful, yeah.
Obviously, that's a multi-phase routine. If you're working socially, you don't have that length of time. You don't have the length of time that you have to fill, and it's probably rude to take over the conversation for that length of time. It's like the guy who wants to be a stand-up comedian, and you're all telling jokes with your friends, and he does 15 minutes. He's got prepared material. You probably don't want to do that. You want it to be a little bit quicker. So what I do is I've got the same coins, and I'll do a 10 kai pennies routine first. And just to test the water to see if anybody's interested in seeing the magic. So what I'll do is I'll just take 2 coins out of my pocket and I'll say, these 2 coins, I'll show you something about magic. If you're interested, I've got a coin over here and I've got a coin over here. If I rub my fingers like that, do you know what happens to the coins? Well, nothing. There's still a coin over here and a coin over here. But if I pretend to take the coin, toss it in the air, and pretend to catch it over here, and maybe even suggest to you that you hear the sound of 2 coins. You might even see 2 coins over here. And if you see 2 coins over here, then you know there must be nothing over here. But of course, it's just an illusion. There's still just 1 coin there and 1 coin in each hand. All right, so that's basically 10 kai pennies, but we go back. The idea being that, but really my addition there is to separate to make an effect out of the sound of the coins. Because that's when they first perceived that magic happened. Now, if you don't, 10 kai pennies is in bobos as well. You simply 10 kai pinch a quarter. Your angles can be pretty dicey in social magic because you generally can control how many people. There's only a few people watching, so you can generally control what they see. Also, quarters are easy to back palm. The angles are pretty good on that. So anyway, you back palm the quarter. You show the 1 coin here, and you do the 10 kai pennies move, which transfers the coin over. So when you say there's 1 coin here and there's 1 coin here, you've actually transferred the same coin over. You then close your hand, retrieve the back pinched quarter. You can hear the sound. Whoops. And C2. As they look over here, you back pinch the quarter again. So then you show this hand empty. You open this up. You push it just like in the 10 kai pennies move to bring your hands together. And this hand opens up and you just drop the coin in your hand. And you end with this little flip. And it's like, I don't know, like your hands were never together, I think. It gives you that impression. So that's it. That's that's 2 coins over here and nothing over here. Of course, you know it's just an illusion. I can't really do magic. There's still a coin there and there's still a coin here. And that's it. So depending on that reaction, I'll grab some more coins and I'll say, look, okay, we'll do this again. And won't make Andrew come all the way up out here, but I'll just, unless you want to. Come on up. Okay, please, come on up here one more time. And I've shortened the routine for social work. It's going to look like this. Go hold your hand out for me. I'm going to place the coins into your hand. That's 2. That's, I'm sorry, I actually get rid of the odd coin. Okay. So that's 2, 4, and 2 more make 5 and 6. Close your hand on them. Watch. I'm going to pretend to take a coin out of your hand, place it into mine, give it a squeeze, and then I'm going to pretend that I have a coin here. Wow, it really does look like I have a coin here. If I've got 1 coin here, you should only have 5. Take a look. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins. I'm going to try and put it back here. Watch the coin. Close your hand. Make it hard. Watch the coin. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to make, all I have to do is imagine taking that coin and putting it, oh, I'm sorry, I got confused, a little bit confused there. When I remember, instead of imagining the coin went back to your hand, I remembered that trick I did a little earlier, and I've got another one out of your hand. I've got 2 there, you've only got 4. And at that point, you can go into any of your other endings with a bent coin or that kind of thing. But it's just abbreviated, and you get 2 coins out of their hand, and that's it. And that's one of the adjustments you're making for social magic, that kind of thing. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. But that's it. That's the Quartermaster 2 different ways.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thank you.
Very cool.
All right.
All right. So now we haven't gotten into this deck of cards that
All right.
that I've left here the entire time. Here,
Yeah.
I'll shuffle them again, just so you know.
All right.
It's a thoroughly mixed up deck of cards. It's not like we're going to start off with all of the stories. Okay. Oh, hey, look, a story.
A story.
How do I approach a table?
How do you approach a table? Strolling magic, that's the question most people ask. How do I approach a table? What's that? Did anybody drop a knife? Right. That's yeah. I'm from TSA. Is this your knife? Yeah. That's Ron Wilson's story. Ron Wilson would approach a table and say, "Did anybody drop a knife? This beautiful white knife? No. How about this black knife?" And he would change colors. That still works. You run the risk, though. People have tried it, and they say you run the risk of being mistaken for the waiter. Because
Also, people say no.
Right.
And they say no right away.
Right. Yeah.
That's not the response you want at the table.
Right. Yeah. And if they're and if they're yeah.
Yeah, right. If they said yes and took the knife, that'd be funny.
Or if they're
I
engrossed,
will the next time if it ever happens to me.
and if they're engrossed in what they're doing and they don't want you to interrupt, you probably shouldn't have approached anyway.
Or I'll say no. I dropped a black knife.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Feed them all the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably that's a whole other question. If you're a magician at a restaurant and a magician comes to your table,
Yeah,
what do you
right,
do, right? But as far as the approach at the table. For about 14 years, I did a show in Waikiki, and we had magic at the tables before the show. And I had guys come up to the tables, and in that venue, they would ask people, "Would you like to see some magic?" And since people had already come to a magic show, it was a pretty safe bet they're going to say yes, right? I don't recommend that approach in a restaurant or anything else. Because Tommy Wonder points this out in his book, right? If you come up to a table cold and say, "Would you like to see some magic?" The audience can only think back to the last magician they saw. And you're being judged on however good or bad that experience was. And you really ought to be judged on your own experience, unless you consider yourself worse than the average magician in the area. So, yeah, you people coming out of the David Copperfield show, would you like to see some magic? That's good. So how do you start without asking? And it may seem pushy, but I will do a quick trick. I will come up to the okay, the first line, "You're welcome to use it," that I've always used is just, it's over fast. The secret that I found for most people that have a good opening line is that it's funny, and that I think it's less important to let them know that you're not accepting tips, because frankly, I've been in situations where people are tipping, and they don't seem to mind it that much.
Yep.
There are some people that say, "I want to know right away whether or not," you want to tell them right away whether or not you're accepting tips, and they want to feel the pressure.
Right.
Really, I mean, unless they never get out, right? It's
Sure.
a situation where almost every time you're in a restaurant, you're tipping anyway. So I don't think that's as important as saying that, "Look, I'm not going to be horribly crushed if you say no. I'm not here because I need the affirmation, but I think this is going to be kind of good." Simon Lovell has a good line, about, "Hey, you've just won second prize. It's a card trick. Yeah, don't feel too bad. First prize is 3 card tricks. But I've just come up to people, and I've come to either a table or a bunch of people talking, and I say, "Look, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's pretty much my job." And that's it. It's over quick, and then they say,
that's
"Okay,
good.
yeah, all right," and they still don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But then I'll say, "Look, I'm the magician here. Did they tell you that there's going to be a magician here?" And they'll say, "No." "Oh, then you didn't look, did you?" "No. If you knew there was a magician, you would have looked." And I'll pick up an object on their table, and there'll be a coin underneath. And I'll say, "This is for me, because I'm the only a magician can take $1 and actually make something out of it, and I'll make 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever." And then we're on our way.
Yeah.
Tommy Wonder talks about doing something, make sure it's good, because they're gonna judge you on that, you know. And I don't think the story is in Books of Wonder, but he told me that he used to open with the "Did anyone lose a lighter?" And he would come up to the table and say, "Did anyone lose this lighter?" And they would say no. He says, "Well, it's not good anyway." And he would light it. And he would use it to light flash paper and toss it up in the air, and it would poof, vanish like that.
Yep.
And it was a good attention getter. And he only set fire to someone's hair once. But it was a pretty good story. But yeah, because you always look. And he looked, and he lit the paper, and the time it took to do this, some woman with one of these big done-up hairdos and a lot of hairspray walked into that area.
Into that,
and he lights the flash.
Right into there.
Boom, fire goes off, sets fire to her hair. So, yeah, another reason not to do Did You Lose Gambit. But yeah, I find that works the best. And I think people are getting more and more familiar with the idea that there's going to be a magician doing magic at the tables. As I hear comedians talk about it. You see it in sketches, and you see it in ads sometimes. And we're at the point now where, like on TV dramas, you'll see the victim of a crime. His character just happens to be he was a magician, right? So I think they're getting more and more familiar with the idea of having magic as entertainment at tables, and you don't really have to worry too much about your approach.
Yeah.
But I think it's still true to let them off the hook. Let them know at least that they don't have to watch out of pity.
I think that's critical, for anybody that's even starting out in strolling magic. If the group says absolutely no, it's nothing against you.
Right.
Just move on to the next group. you
Right.
know? Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. The audience is learning from you. What is that?
I mentioned that earlier.
You did mention that.
Yeah, from your first trick, they're going to learn about you and what you expect from them. You know.
Yeah. Right. Hey, some stories.
Oh.
Origami and bicycle cards.
All right. Yeah, I've been thinking about this recently.
You told me about the bicycle cards earlier before it started, but tell everybody about that, and then.
All right. So someone posted on the Genie forum a story which sounded very much like a story that I've been telling in my lectures, and that's that they went and saw a magician do a series of card tricks for a bunch of lay people. And after the show, they had the experience of waiting around with the layperson, with the lay people, and listening to what they said about the show. And one of the guys who was at the show says, those card tricks, that had to be trick cards. And the other person says, well, yeah, every time I've seen a magician, it's always been those cards, those red bicycle cards. Those have got to be the trick cards.
So we think they're the normal,
right? We think
most normal cards.
The reason that most people use bicycle playing cards is because we think that they're the most normal, most familiar cards, and they will be taken as average because everybody sees them in their own homes. It turns out that if we all do that, that's the cards that all magicians use. So it's exactly the opposite effect that we were hoping for it to have. And I guess the lesson to be learned there, I don't think that's a common misperception yet.
Right. Sure.
But I think...
But it can happen. Things can happen. It doesn't matter how fair you try to be.
Right.
It can happen.
And it may have been true in the past, but what's true and what works changes over time. And sometimes what's true and what works changes because everybody does it, right? If you've got the perfect solution to a problem and then everybody starts doing it, it sometimes cannot be the solution anymore. Certainly because if everyone's doing it, everyone knows what to expect. The similar thing is I had I was working as an illusion consultant for one of the other shows in Waikiki. And we were working on the origami illusion. And the origami illusion is this fabulous thing where Jim Steinmeier had created this effect where you have a very thin table. And on top of this very thin table is a fairly small box. You put a girl assistant inside, and you fold the box up into it's a very, very small box. And then you stick rods and poles and swords through it because, we were working on that, and then a lot of people were putting the costume change into the end of the show, right? I think Copperfield used it, right? When you unfold the box, the girl comes out, proving she was in there, and she's in a different outfit. And our problem was getting people to appreciate the fact that her costume had changed, because it's a long time between the time she gets in and all that happens, and when you open it up again, she comes out. People generally aren't paying attention to what she's wearing.
Sure.
Right? So what change would be appropriate? What change would make sense? How could we cue this, and how could we get them to appreciate the fact that it happened? We thought it said it was more magic, so it'd be better. So we put the costume change in. We worked out some framing. We had a new costume where people couldn't help but notice. And I wanted to see how it works, so my stage assistant and I are watching the show. And she's been in all of the stage effects that I was doing, a zigzag and a subtrunk and all that, so she knows how these things work. And we're watching the origami happen, and she comes out in the costume change, and it works okay, everything seems to work, and I turn to my assistant and I say, so what did you think? And she goes, that's okay, but it's kind of obvious. And I said, really? How is that obvious? She says, well, it's clear that the girl got out of the box and went backstage. And I said, how did you know that? Well, because the box is so small, she can't possibly fit in there. She's got to go down there. And then at the end, the proof is that at the end, she's in a different outfit. So she must have left. And I don't know what the moral of this kind of story is. You never know what the audience is thinking, and at least all the audience is thinking, until you ask.
Yeah.
Again, we may have been trying to prove something that really wasn't helping us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing, is that the addition of the costume change, you would think, is much more challenging, but to them, it just proves this weird assumption.
Yeah.
And it's just like when people would say, it's up your sleeve.
Right.
You know damn well it's not.
Right. Right.
But how are you going to disprove this weird assumption that people have?
Right.
You can't. You
Yeah.
can't. So it almost doesn't matter what you do. You have to take whatever people say.
Yeah.
And try to figure out how can you do something that makes it more magical for them.
Right. How can I convince you that that's not the case?
Yeah, that's
right?
not the case. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is an actual story.
Okay. So.
I think we were just talking about that, weren't we?
Sort of. Okay.
Sort of,
A friend
right.
of mine who started out as my assistant in my Waikiki show, and then started doing close-up magic at the tables, and started doing parties and things like that. Went on to do John Hirakawa's Magical Polynesia show, actually starring in the show sometimes. He would open with the color-changing knife. All right. He would say, "Look, I've got a black knife," and it would change white. That would be his trick. So he gets booked to do a show, and anyone that gets booked to do parties, you probably have had this happen. He gets booked to do an hour of close-up magic, table to table. And he shows up, and the guy has rented a stage. And the guy has rented a stage and says, look, okay, you're going to do your show up here. And my friend Keith says, look,
I'm going to walk around.
I just brought these little things. I don't have a stage show with me. And why didn't you tell me, right?
Yeah.
And the guy says, oh, no, I really like what you do. I just want everybody to be able to see it, so I got a stage. So can you go up on stage and do your show? And he says, no, it doesn't work that way. They're not going to be able to see it. So the guy says, okay, fine. Go do what you're going to do. And he starts. And he goes to one table, and he starts with the color-changing knife. And the guy has not given up. He's taken the microphone. And he's decided the best way to do this is he's going to narrate everything that happens for everybody. And he says, oh, look, he's got a black knife. Oh, it's changed to white. It's amazing. And not only is that like really bizarre, but he's only got one opening at the tables, right? So now what's he going to do?
Next table. He's got to go to after he does the whole thing that's been narrated, he's got to go to the next table. Oh, look, he's got a black knife. There you go.
Oh, okay. So, all right. This is just word of caution. One of your functions as a strolling magician at tables is you're there partially to save parents from their children, right? There are children who are, for whatever reason, are in a bad mood. They're irritable. They have nothing to say at the moment to each other. And thank goodness for the magician who comes in and performs. I was fully happy, filling that role. And I come across a table, and they're disturbing the entire restaurant because they have an infant who's crying. And you can't really do magic for an infant. But I noticed that infants, and this one included, if you put your finger in her hand, she would close her hand, right? So I'm thinking, I can do sponge balls for her. So I show her a sponge ball, and basically I'm showing everybody else. She's not really following. Sponge ball, I pick up these balls, I put the balls in her hand, and she closes her hand on them, right? So open my hand up, the ball's gone. Open your hand up, and she opens her hand, and the two balls are there. And the audience is impressed. Obviously, they're fooled. She looked surprised because all of a sudden those stuff come out of her hand, right? Wow. And it worked. It completely shut her up. Wow. There is a theory. A friend of mine told me that for a crying baby, the sight of someone with a clown nose on will quiet them.
Wild.
And maybe this has something to do with it. The red balls, boom, okay? So there they are. And she's amazed by the balls. And everyone's, oh, thank you very much. You got her quiet down, and this is great. And can she keep the balls? Because she seems to be, this seems to be working for her. And I leave her with one because I figure, what the heck, right? I leave her with the ball. Do not do this, because the next thing she does is takes the ball, sticks it right in her mouth.
Right in the mouth. Yeah.
And she's going to choke on it.
Oh yeah.
And luckily, Mom was watching, and Mom jumped on her and grabbed it out of her mouth, and gave this spit-filled ball to me. But I deserved it, because you shouldn't ever leave it with little children.
Sure. Yeah,
so that's the lesson.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. But it's interesting if they like that. Sorry, I bent your coin.
Oh,
is what it says.
All right. I do. Let me get it.
Is that, you want to get it? Okay.
Yeah, I do a trick with the copper silver transposition with half dollars. This is back when I was working with half dollars, and it has to be half dollars. So you show the audience a half dollar and a copper coin, and you say, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the half dollar at my fingertips. I'm going to hand you the copper coin, and sure enough, you hand the person the copper coin, and you say, watch, I'm going to take the silver coin, and whatever pattern line you have, they change places. I've got the copper coin, you've got the silver coin.
Right.
If you do this for tables where there's two children or two important people, two girls, the other one's going to want to do the trick too.
Sure.
Right? So to repeat, I say, hold on to the coin. Watch, I'm going to make them change places. Oh, you seem to be holding on really tight. Let me see. Oh, look, you've bent the coin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So the coin is bent and usually gets a laugh.
Yeah, it's hard to see from that angle, but
it's
it's really well bent. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a great way to play for two kids because a lot of families have 1.75 children. So when for the tables
it's that 0.75 you got to watch out for.
Right. For the tables that rounded up, you do this, and both kids get to do something.
Yeah.
So it's my go-to for that situation. Yeah. And the nice thing about it is that your extra coin is the gaff. And you can back palm this coin, and look, it back palms itself.
Because it'll back palm itself flatter.
Yeah,
from the bend.
because of the bend, it hugs your fingers. You got no angle problems. Nice. So anyway, you're doing the trick. I'm doing the trick, and I do it, and everybody reacts. They react to the first one. They react to the second one.
Yep.
And that's pretty much as I expected. And I go on to the next table, and a little while later, one of the little girls that I did the trick for comes up to me, and she sticks a cocktail napkin in my hand. And she takes off. And, so I'm still working, right? So I put it in my pocket. I look at it afterwards, and it's got little girl handwriting on it. And it says, I'm sorry I bent your coin. And it's got her name. And, okay.
Yeah.
Well, who are these parents, right? Because you got to think, Okay, so the trick happens. They know it's a trick.
Right.
Right? And either A, they got down on the little girl and said, "Oh, you bent this coin, you better apologize," or B, for no reason, right? Or B, she felt bad about it, and the parents played along with it.
Played along,
Didn't just tell her, "No, that was really part of the trick," or "That's okay. He's a magician. He can fix it." Or whatever. What a weird dysfunctional family. So.
Well, there is a third possibility, okay? I'm going to give you the third possibility to make you feel better about yourself and them.
Good.
She could be a very independent spirit.
She could.
She could have gone off on her own to find something to write with and write on.
Right.
You right?
And Mom and Dad might have said, okay, if that's what she wants to do, she should do it. So, in case it was one of the other two, I have never left it where the kid has bent the coin.
Yeah, always straighten it out.
I will always straighten it out.
And that's the thing. You listen to your audience because that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
If they bent the coin, you're a magician.
Right.
I was about to say another word. You're a insert expletive magician.
Right. Yes.
Just straighten it out.
Straighten it out. Everybody's happy. Yeah.
That's
Don't worry about it.
so brilliant.
Bam.
Because it's magic out of necessity then.
Right.
And it makes perfect sense to do it. I absolutely love that as the conclusion.
Yeah. It's much better.
That's the way to do it for sure. Now, somebody asked here, and this, is if you can think of something. What was the funniest way that you ever had a trick go wrong or ever saw a trick go wrong?
Oh,
Doesn't have to be you in particular. But if you can think of something that was the funniest way that a trick went wrong, I mean, it's not funny.
There are so many stories.
There's so many, right?
For other people.
Yeah.
It's not funny when it happens to me.
It's not funny when it happens to you.
There was the time, different assistant, okay? So I don't want to be picking on the same person. Different assistant. I had this theory that everybody was closing with subtrunk. So we're going to open with subtrunk. Okay, we're going to get that out of the way. We're going to open with subtrunk. So I'm doing a show, and we're on the bill with a bunch of other people, including this comedian that was really funny. And as soon as the comedian was done, we were going to start the music, and what would happen is I would push the trunk on from stage right. I would stop center stage. I would gesture to the trunk. There's this puff of smoke because we had a dolly for the thing with a flash pot in it. Puff of smoke, and my assistant the guy assistant would leap out of the box. He'd be in the box. He'd leap out of the box. It looked like he appeared out of smoke. It was so good the first time. Right? At the second time, they would figure out where it's coming from. Right? But boom, and there he is out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then he would run behind the trunk. I would step in front. I would gesture to stage left, and my girl assistant would come running on. She would jump into my arms. I'd spin around, put her in the box. We'd do subtrunk. Right? And we'd do like the world's fastest subtrunk. I mean, for the total routine, not the switch.
Yeah.
But the whole routine would be like 30 seconds.
Sure.
Bam. Right? So we're all set, and we had rehearsed it that way. I gestured to the left, and she comes running on, put her in the box. We're all set. So we're backstage. We're ready to go, and the comedian starts. And my assistant says, "Hey, I've never seen this guy. Can I go watch the guy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go watch too." So we all go out in the audience. We're watching this guy, and he's got 20 minutes of material. He's actually a Samoan chief, and he works at the Polynesian Cultural Center, and he does this presentation about how, he's very funny about being an actual chief, and this is what I do. And he takes a coconut and husks a coconut with a stick and sets fire to it and everything. And so it was good. And we're watching this, and then he finishes, and we come backstage, and we're ready. They introduce us, and the music starts, and I push the box out on stage, and there's this puff of smoke, and my assistant comes out of nowhere. It's really good. I step, and I do this, and there's nobody in the left wing. Stage left wing, there's nobody there. And in the darkness, I see this head getting up and running out of the audience across the stage. And she must have been in the audience going,
watching
"Oh, this is going to be good." Yeah.
This is going to be really good. That comedian was funny with the coconut, but this looks good.
Yeah. Hey, we do this trick. Yeah.
Here's one. What's the point?
Oh, okay.
What's the point?
Okay, that's the story of my friend Keith, who is the guy that jumps out of the box.
Okay.
And he's doing table magic one night. And he sees this lady sitting all by herself, older lady, and looking fairly proper. And he comes up to her and he says, hi. He says, hello, good evening. I'm the house magician. And she says, really, what do you do? And he says, I do this. And he reaches out in the air and he produces a coin. He makes it disappear, and it appears like under her coffee cup or something like that, right? I do this, boom, boom, boom. And he does that, and he looks at her, and she looks back at him, and he goes, and in all sincerity, she goes, so what's the point?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he stops dead. He's thinking, yeah, what is the point?
Yeah, no, yeah, seriously.
And yeah, he thought about it, and he just kind of walked away from the table.
Yeah. I've actually had something similar happen to me in the past. I've gone up to a table and I started with like an ace production, and they're like, "Why are you doing this?" No, that was it. They just straight in my face. Like here's an ace, and there's an ace, and here's an ace, and bam, there's all 4 aces. Why are you doing this? And I just had to stop and walk away. Same thing.
Yeah.
What, right?
But I think implicit in that example is why you're doing this for us, because clearly we don't want to see it.
Well, okay, but and what's the point? I mean, but I think it was
she just
didn't
grasp the idea of why, and then he didn't have an answer. I think you have to have an answer. Why do you do this, right? Yeah. Even if it's because I like to bring joy and mystery to the lives of people who are desperate and lonely. You probably don't. It would have been okay, right?
It would have been okay. Yeah, okay,
I don't know.
Right.
But he didn't know, and that's what got him. He comes up. He comes to me at the show the next week. He goes, "Why do we do this?"
Yeah. Were you able to help him at all with that? Because see, this is the thing that happened to me was that I started thinking, oh yes, that doesn't make any sense at all unless I introduce the idea that the aces are important. And then if I find them, it's the same thing that we're talking about. If a magician's in control, of course I can find them.
Right.
So I stopped doing that, and I started having the spectator find them.
Okay, good.
I was like, the aces are the most important cards in the deck, and I'm going to see, if you can find them. Here, touch any card. There's an ace. Oh, you did well. Right away, all of a sudden, everything shifts and changes. And then I also years ago, a long time ago, way early in my career, I went up to a trick, and I went up to a table, and I'm doing a trick. It went up to a trick. No, that's a totally different story. Yeah. Totally different story. Okay.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, right. Oh, it's going to be funny now. I produced a ball because I did. Because I produced a sponge ball, and this guy that was just for a couple. And this guy at the table says, he goes, "You're not going to do a trick with sponges, are you?" It was the most obnoxious thing I've ever heard in my life. And this is what I said. "No, I'm doing a trick for sponges." And then I left. And now, seriously, don't ever do that. Don't ever say that. But
sure.
I was just, I was a little offended.
Yeah.
But it means you've got to think about they're people. They're not there to see magic. They're there to have a dinner, whatever, and that kind of stuff. And, even if they are there to see magic, why are you doing it? What is the point? What is the point?
And I don't think it can be a long explanation. You just have to.
You just got
have
something,
have
a hook.
Yeah.
So something meaningful. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Part of my.
That's funny. Now, Tony Miller, when you walk up to a table, you say, "I'm required because of my court-mandated community service to show you a card trick."
Yes. It's part of my parole. Yeah. You can do that.
I've only got 10 minutes left on community service, so you're going to see some magic.
Well, okay. The fastest answer we could come up with was you say, "Oh, I thought you were going to like it," and you turn around and walk away slowly. Make them feel bad.
I don't know. I don't. And that's the thing. I felt bad for saying that to the guy with the sponge thing because I was trying to make them feel bad, but I don't think that's the way to go about it. I mean, really, what it is, do they have something better to do? They might, you know. First of all, when you go up to a table, do they have something better to do? I've never interrupted businessmen with a discussion because, you know, you can't do that. I've never interrupted a couple that are, you know, very closely engaged in and just about to reveal the ring. You know, hey, here's a sponge.
Yeah.
You know, you'll need this.
Yeah.
No, come on, stop that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got to seriously consider how we approach people and
And what the experience of having a guy come up to your
I
table
don't
is.
like that one. I don't like that one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wait. Okay, I have no idea what this means. So it says stand up.
Oh, yes.
Ending on you, a kiss goodnight. What is that?
Okay.
For stand up.
Almost everybody that does close-up magic at some point comes to the opportunity to do stand-up magic, right? Is sometimes they ask you to do something at the end for everybody. Or you start to think, you know what, if I could perform for everybody all at once, I could be done here a lot sooner, right? I could do something up on stage. And most of us have a stand-up stage show. And coming from someone that had a full dinner show, yeah, so there are parts that I do for stand-up. And it seems like show structure is more important when you're doing a stand-up routine, when you're on stage, when you're the center of attention. And people have been talking about the Tarbell formula, the one that's in Tarbell, about how do you build an act, and the Harry Blackstone theory, which is that your best trick is second from last, right? You don't close on your best trick. You close on your second best trick, and then you close on something that's an applause getter that's either flashy or something like that. I've been experimenting and working with, this works for me at least, a show that ends on the performer, all right? The biggest thing that the biggest prop that you have in most stand-up shows is you. And the biggest thing that you can do is manipulate emotions. And the mentalists say that what you're doing is not doing tricks, you're revealing character in everything you do. And to the extent that you can close on a small trick that reveals something about yourself or gives them an emotional rush, I think that's the way to do it. And Barry Richardson talks about ending on, you know, never mind the trick, end on a poem, end on a story, something like that. And so I've got this stand-up show that looks like there are no props, all right? Don't have any tubes, don't have any boxes, and I came up with a closing speech to deliver, and you can use it to when you don't either have the money to afford large flashy props, or you intentionally don't have large flashy props or tricks in your shows, as a way of making them feel good about that. Because I'm talking mainly to my client, right, who's hired me, and you know is ignoring the fact that everybody's having a good time, but you know what, he didn't bring out the big box and cut the girl in half, whatever, right? So it turns out to be very useful to have this, and you can come out on stage at the end of your show without a big flashy ending. And I simply say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you look up on the stage, we had a good time tonight. If you look up on the stage, you don't see tricky boxes, you don't see animals trapped in tiny cages, you don't see women in embarrassing outfits. The only reason you saw any magic tonight, and the only reason there's any magic left in the world today, is because nice people like you have it in your imaginations. And for that, I thank you very much. And that's the end of the show.
Sweet.
And that's the kiss goodnight. You do that, and you can make up for the fact that you didn't spend a whole lot of money on your props. And that's it's been a saver. You know, just have something to say at the end. I hear Al Coran would close his show in a theater by doing the cigarette paper. And again, it's bringing it in because your biggest prop is you and your character. And if you could reveal something about yourself and about magic just by doing this little cigarette paper tear, that's the way I do it. That's the way to go. So yeah, I close with the gypsy thread on the balloon now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
it's a great lesson. It's something that I've always done with my shows too, because I've always closed my work with Starkle, which is the napkin tear.
Oh wow!
You know, we're very similar to what Al Coran does. You know, and depending on the size of the theater, we add more production value to it, but it's still about focusing the audience back down. And I've had a very similar speech, which I'm not going to go into. But what I am going to say is, let's give Curtis Cam one big last round of applause for hanging out with us, for delivering the goods. He's the man. He's shown us a ton of magic. Awesome hanging out with my old buddy. I haven't seen him in like 14 years. He's still awesome. And thank you so much for supporting Live Magic. We'll see you later.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, man.
You got it.